gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death construction. In the fields of bodies burning.
Yeah. Good song for today's environment.
The war machine keeps turning.
There it is.
Hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
Damn.
Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They leave their all to the poor. Yeah. Time will tell them their power minds, making war just for fun, treating people just like pawns and chess. Wait till their judgment day comes. Yeah.
What the bleep, man? All right. Look, man, that's enough of that. I feel like I'm back in the '60s or some shit. Man, look, people, don't even start emailing me, people. Don't you even dare. We're not even going there tonight. No, I know what War Pigs are. One of my friends, Steven, was the biggest Black Sabbath fan I ever met in my entire life. He used to drive me crazy with this. He's, oh, let's listen, Joe. Come on, let's listen. I'm like, let's listen. Oh, you're gonna love it, man. It's Black Sabbath, man. It's Black Sabbath, man. And I'm like, really, Steve? Like, yeah, you're gonna love Black Sabbath, man. I'm like, Hey, welcome, Sean. Oh, I know the other Jay's. There he is.
Hey, how you doing, Joe? How you doing, Jay?
Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well.
So the beginning of War Pigs is cool for this show, but only the beginning. The rest of it is just too much. No, Clary, just get it.
But the thing is, though, they had a really, really bad reputation back in the day. But no one, I mean, I guess in maybe the music magazines, drummer magazines, and guitar magazines, and whatnot, they talk about them, but they were actually very good musicians, every one of those guys. So it wasn't like they were, a bunch of schlackers, just out there making money.
Well,
they actually were talented.
Steve made me listen, and I like some of their music because because Ozzy and Steve just pounded me with him because I was like, stop, enough is enough, man. And then Iron Man came out, and I was like, oh, I'm not kind of like this. And but I was doing other things back then, so my taste in music has changed. It was a different world. That's all I can say, people. It was different. It was whatever the hell time it was. I can't even remember. I'm too old to remember that far back.
The Black Sabbath was the 70s, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
It
was pretty much the 70s. Yeah, they broke into some 80s stuff, and they might have dropped something. No, they were Ozzy in the 90s. So Ozzy did.
No, Ozzy in the 80s. I think that. I mean.
Yeah, I really was Ozzy in the 80s. Yeah, it was. And Ozzy was Ozzy. I seen Ozzy. First time I ever seen Ozzy was at Tulane Stadium in the rain, biting a bat's head off. I'm like, wow, who is this weirdo? I was thinking I was like 13 or something. I was like, no way, man. What the hell is this? I was surprised my mom even let me go because she was such a freak about that kind of stuff. I liked Ozzy for a lot of things. I mean, I still can't understand what he's saying when he's talking, but That's my car. Like, what the fuck did you just say? Bleep bleep. And his car. You ever hear him when he's trying to talk to his car? He's did a couple of clips where he's trying to teach his car to listen to it. Shit is hilarious. The car is just like, no way, dude. I don't know what the hell you're saying.
He's lucky he's got his wife, man, because he'd be lost.
Oh, he
Like,
would be
she's
too.
smart. She's the smart one.
She is a smart one, and she made sure they hung on to the money and the fame, and she's come out on her own. You know, I like her because she's one of those wives who actually stepped out and made a difference. Not like the wife that, well, got the poor comedian slapped in the face because Will Smith's got a little dick. Oh wait, did I say that out loud? Son of a bitch! I'm sorry, people. I did not mean to say that out loud. That just slipped out of my mouth. I was thinking that was not meant to. I meant to say he had penis envy. Okay, I'm sorry. I can be crude some nights. People get freaked out because they're so used to me being one way and they see me in radio and they're like, Joe, you're kind of rude. Yeah, I can be rude when I want to be. Look, you know, what's her face? What's her name?
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah. She can't. The girl she's warped. And let me tell you what, if my wife had her own TV show and all she did was go in there and talk about me on the TV, we'd be divorced. We'd be divorced. I'd be all into that shit, or she'd be dead, one or the other, and I'd be in prison because I don't know why you'd want to do that to your old man or your old lady. That shows no loyalty whatsoever. And no way you're going to tell me he didn't get upset about it because he was running around pouting off with these little 12-year-olds around the country. No, Chris, he wasn't really 12-year-olds. They were like 19. They were barely legal. You ever seen them TV, them porn books says barely legal? That's what he was doing, barely legal. Yes. Right out of their training bras. That's what he was going for. Well, you know, they're naive when they're that age, and you can get away with more. What are you talking about? Women get to be like 30 or 40. You ain't getting shit over. They'd be like, what are you, stupid? No,
also the younger victims are less likely to make a big noise.
No, that's true too. It's no, we don't mean it. Jada Smith is warped. That's all I can tell y'all guys. I mean, she's warped.
It's one strange lady.
So they have their own thing, so they can fool around. You know, they have their. Of course, nobody's ever seen any one of them fooling around, which kind of bothers me a little bit. Well, you know, you think if you're having affairs and you're famous like these two, or somebody would have got you on some camera somewhere. So I wonder how much is actually real and how much is actually just blown up from somebody's mouth. Because Jada seems that type because she always wanted to be the famous one. I think she's always had issues with Will's fame. I've seen her a couple of times, you know, talk about TV shows and why he got a break and she didn't get a break. Oh, because he had a thing between his legs and I didn't and stuff like that. And
or maybe the fact is that he has actual
it was
talent.
Funny when
he is more talented than she is.
Yes, and when he was young, he was funny as all hell, man. I mean, he was just hilarious. And you know, and she wasn't. She was like, "I want to kill you."
Mm-hmm. He was one of those few old school type of entertainers that could sing, dance, comedy, drama.
Yeah, he do everything.
He do everything.
Yeah.
Oh no,
except
Chris,
control himself.
No, Chris, this is the only show I can curse on. I'm not allowed to curse on the other. Actually, I just don't. I really had pretty strict rules on the network about cursing, but this is a late night news show, so we can get away with just about anything here. Except when Jay starts stripping, I got to turn the camera off. I get a little shook. That's enough for me. But
someone start up a can, will you?
I seen the other show on last week. I'm like, oh wait, where's the button? Where's the button? Give me the button.
Where's the off button? Where's the off button?
Jesus. Oh man, what's that, Chris? No, we love everybody on this network. Yeah, and you're just stupid enough to get in front of us. That's your own dumbass fault. That's all I can tell you. No, there's a lot of stuff in the news.
If we don't like it, we don't make fun of you. So I mean, that's the way it goes.
Oh, so I love this. So this guy, about 21 months ago, was giving a big lecture to the EU people in NATO and how NATO is not needed anymore, and we should just break NATO up and do away with NATO. So he was on stage today in some big conglomerate meeting in the EU, and they asked him, "So do you still feel that way today, sir?" And you know he wanted to say yes. You just know he did. He was like, "No, man, we need to build NATO up."
Few wars going on. The U.S. is sending bombs over to the Iranian. I don't think so.
So Russia's threatening Russia's now threatening to nuke Kiev, Berlin, and London. So first up, in case you didn't know, both Germany and England are NATO countries. So that means no more Russia because NATO will wipe them from the face of the planet in a matter of days.
I mean,
even if China gets in, even if China gets in, they're still going to die. NATO is ruthless, and I mean they've got more military than people know.
If they bomb those 3 cities, I don't think China's going to back them at all. China's probably going to be like Sweden. Like,
well,
hey,
China might think
if you need to pass your territory, just don't drop anything.
China might think if they catch NATO off guard and Russia can roll in some troops through Poland and all, they might think, hey, this is an opportune time. But in the end, they have to know. Worst case scenario, America still has 5,429 nuclear warheads available for use. So, guys,
and how many of those are on submarines right now, floating around in the ocean?
There's quite a few of them sitting on mobile launches, and quite a few of them sitting on the ground. So, in the end, people, we have plenty enough firepower to wipe everybody else on the planet out 2, 3, maybe even 4 times. Not like the old days when we have 12,000 of them bitches, and Russia.
We have enough nukes to nuke the nukes that we just nuked the nukes with.
So, well, the problem is, Chris, or I'm gonna call you Kim Jong tonight since you're being a smart ass. So, Kim Jong, the problem really is the United States is going to knock out a lot of these, and Elon's going to knock out a lot of these, but 5,000.
Yeah, well, that's to be seen. I mean, he's threatening to do it, but how fast are his machines and how accurate are they? I mean, we're talking. How fast is his satellite going?
They don't have to be. Oh, Elon can knock out. Elon's got it. Elon's already figured out what he's going to do. So. When he sees it break the atmosphere,
I hope he's a man of his word. He's able to do it.
Well, he's done so far. He's done everything he said he's done, from electric cars to landing rocket ships. So I got.
That's what I'm saying. If he
already demonstrated
do it.
Well, he demonstrated
credibility is shot.
Well, he's already demonstrated. So what he did is there was a piece of space junk moving. I think it was like 46,000 miles an hour, just cruising along. So he redirected one of the satellites that wasn't giving signal, was damaged, and just whacked that bitch straight out into space. Wasn't even an effort. Their tracking systems is so much better than ours. Russia, this tells you how good their tracking system is. So Russia's been bouncing off of Starlink to track the Ukrainians. That's pathetic. When you got to steal the enemy. Wait, they've also been using their internet. So it tells you something right off the bat. Russia was not the power I thought Russia was. Even if Russia comes rolling out with a bunch of stuff, I just don't think. I think that Putin and his ancestors or his predecessors have just been living on the threat that Russia was this big, bad, awesome machine. But Russia's been broke for 4 or 5 decades.
Is it that the state is broke, or that what they just stopped producing?
I think they started. I think for every 1 tank made, the money for 5 tanks went out to the oligarchs.
Yeah,
and I think that's what really happened. So today, because somebody asked the other day what happened to all the brand new tanks he had that he was rolling over to the Ukraine from somewhere, and they just disappeared. Well, there's a picture that makes it look like it's one. You remember the old days when they used to put the pieces of wood out and they'd paint them up like tanks, but they were only on one side.
Like a standee, yeah.
That's what these look like. So they might have busted him.
But by the way,
you showed that picture, Joe, a few shows ago, a few weeks and weeks ago, of all of their bombers on a tarmac somewhere in, like, what was that that secret place they have up there?
Oh yeah, they want to die. What were you saying? Yeah, they want to die.
By the way, we used to do that in training to the U.S. military, and it works better than you think.
Oh, I bet you it does, because they
just
look
like
real.
fiberglass turrets, and then you do something else, and you can get longbow Apache helicopters to attack you all night long. I'm not going to say what. They did that they classified the footage afterwards.
I bet you they did.
Like, how did it work? How well did it work? And they're like, no comment. And
it worked on D-Day when they stormed the beaches in Normandy. They had some fake cutouts to fool the Nazis to go towards the decoy areas, and they were going up basically chasing cardboard, gun targets.
Well, there's something else you can also do to their radars, but I'm not gonna. I'll leave that.
Yes. Let's not get Jay arrested now.
Yeah, exactly.
We both got security clearances. They might come get Jay and the rest of the audience for that matter.
They like my dad was in top secret stuff with his company. Basically his whole life till he retired. So my phones have been tapped since I was a kid. So I'm not at all adverse to the fact that the NSA is on the other end of my telephone at certain points of the day. Probably they're all
NSA's on they're on the other end of every telephone. It just goes to a server somewhere.
There are certain telephones they listen to more than others. So, like, Joe the plumber, they couldn't care less unless he says bomb, bomb, bomb 3 times in a row. Then they're going to go after him. Me, when I pick up the phone, like, oh, there's that guy's kid again. Let's see what he's talking about. Okay, it's nothing about us. Good.
Yeah, they've been running. I mean, they ran Carnivore for a while, but now they get more sophisticated stuff. They ran Echelon for a while, and they got more sophisticated stuff. Then they ran Green Lantern, and Green Lantern was only supposed to listen for keywords. So, like, if Sean said, 3 or 4 words, like, I'm going to blow up Putin or some shit, it would key something off, and then it would run a search and see if he was actually a threat or if it's not. So if for a show like this, mostly they would ignore most of what we were saying because they've been listening long enough that they know we're keyword enough. They're not going to pay attention. Plus, I probably killed enough keywords that they're just don't even worry about that ass. Just ignore him. You're wasting good computer space. But they do it, and they still do it. And I have
the same thing on YouTube too. Like, you can not YouTube, but you can see on your retention graphs. There'll be like it'll be kind of just straight line, and then there'll be this spike. It'll go from like 30 to 100 and then right back down. And if you listen to what's said in those discussions, it's something that they probably don't want people saying.
It's weird because I mean I know Green Lantern, if it's text, audio, or video, it's scanned by them. Now it's scanned at a high speed. It's done at real, and YouTube uses basically the same technologies to scan. Like the other day, I got a thing thrown off from 3 years ago. I'm like, really? So at that time, and I'm really thinking about suing YouTube over this. So at that time, it met their criteria. So YouTube changed their criteria really without telling anybody what the new criteria actually was. Oh, they give you some bullshit guideline that doesn't really quite explain what it is. So on a news show, you can't really say, well, that's not true, because a lot of times, like the Russia hoax. Okay, if you said it was a hoax, YouTube threw you off. Now YouTube's being sued by several people because, of course, it wasn't a hoax. So Russia fell for the scam. I mean, YouTube fell for the scam, and here we are. You can't let.
Well, I don't think they fell for anything. I think they were instructed.
No, they might have been. What's that, Ricky? Hold on, I was drinking Coke. Wait, what? Russia's just. A lot of people think World War III is on its way. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's going to be what people think it is. No, it's not going to be everybody launches nukes and we all die. That's not going to be what it is, because nobody really wants to die. Putin does not want to die. Xi Jinping does not want to die. Uncle Cracker Fartface doesn't want to die. Well, I don't know. He don't know if he's alive or dead anyway. But the next guy coming in is not going to want to die. And none of and if, like they say, Obama's running Biden, well, if that's true, Obama don't want to die. He's kind of one of those cowardly guys anyway. Likes to hide behind people. Oh, there is a rumor, and y'all can tell me what y'all think about that. There is a rumor that Michelle Obama is going to put her hat into the ring and run for president. So my thing is, she can't wait too long, since the Democrats have delegates. She'd have to come in as an independent, because if not, she's got to beat Joe Biden, and Joe Biden just can't say, okay, I quit and you can have it. It doesn't quite work that way. So I'm not sure. And I don't know what states, some of the states may disqualify her. I don't know how that's going to work.
It could be he goes through the process, gets the nomination, then has a quote unquote health issue.
Well, that would give it to Kamala Harris. If she was running with him she would get it automatically.
There's probably some process in the Democratic Party where they have like a deliberation and then they choose some heir apparent. And I think they'd find some way to kind of move Kamala Harris out and then bring in someone who's even worse.
Well, so
there'd be somebody from without getting in trouble. Yeah,
they're not going Newsom, because Newsom got his ass handed to him by what's his face down in Florida, and he retired.
DeSantis.
Newsom can't go against Trump. He doesn't have what it takes. Trump will eat him for lunch, and it's too easy to make fun of Gavin. He's done too many stupid things, so he's out there. They would like to, but I think the Democrats realized when they did the 2 debates, him and Santis just ate him for lunch, and I think that was it. Now, what I read was each state decides whether or not you can run. So it doesn't matter what the Democratic Party says. The actual state the state Democratic Party has to say, and it has to be backed up by the governor of the state. So
Well, you also, in order
you can already say that
you also have to have 50,000. I think it's 50,000 signatures from every state.
Well, no, it varies.
Some
states were as low as 356. Some were much higher. It varied from state to state.
Well,
but
you still have to go to all 50 states and gather signatures.
You do. You have to go through all of them and get the signatures. There's a couple other things you got to get besides that. There's a couple other things you've got to meet besides that. But still, you can't win the Democratic Party without winning the delegates. So either she comes in as an independent, or I guess Kamala, if Biden stepped out, Kamala could pick her as her VP, and it could be an all-woman
ticket.
Yeah, I would leave the country if them two bitches won. Canada looking better and better every day, man. I'm just saying. Even with trashy Trudeau, it's looking better than them two. Oh man, that's just a scary.
Well, what about Kennedy? Kennedy's going to probably divide the
them.
Democratic vote.
So right now he's looking like if the pollers were good the other day, he's looking like he's pulling 12 to 15% of all the Democratic votes going to him, and about 5 to 6% of the Republican votes going towards him. So he's actually pulling a little vote. Yeah, it's not enough to win, mind you, but it's enough to sure irritate the shit out of any. And I don't think any Democrat can win in this election. This is like when Ross Perot ran. You know, there was the wild card. The Republicans had that. It was easy for them to win. But he got in the race, and then, of course, those votes pulled away from the Republicans and went to him, and then the Democrats won the race. So in this race,
also the fact he flipped, he was in and out of the race so often.
Yeah,
he caused more confusion. He really basically handed that race to, and he took it away from Bob Dole, didn't he?
Yeah, gave it. He's the reason the Democrats won that election. Because that Republicans had it easy, but he blew it for them. That's what's going on here. Kennedy is like. You want to screw around with me? Well, watch this, boys. And there's nothing they can do. He's not scared of them. They can't bully him. He's a Kennedy to start off with. What are you going to do? Really? You can't even piss the Kennedys off because it makes you.
Well, yeah, we're going to do shoot me in the head in front of
Well, they might do. They might do.
They might. I mean,
but
they killed two of his relatives anyway.
I think this guy, and you know what? And this could be good for him next term around. If he does well and he pulls 20 or 30% of the vote, and whoever comes in does a shitty job, he might have a chance. Right now, it's looking like a Trump DeSantis ticket. I don't know if that's even a stoppable ticket at this point. DeSantis is well liked. Well, it gives him Florida automatically. That's like, it was like the election with, what was his name? Pretty boy who went crying after he lost. He grew a beard and stuff. Gore, yeah. Gore. So I never could understand why there was such a big deal about Florida. Jeb Bush was loved. Jeb had an 87% approval rating in Florida, and you really thought that Florida was going to vote for not for his brother. I couldn't even believe people thought that. I personally think that was way rigged because this had been a much bigger margin. And 3 years down the line, they found 105,000 ballots stuffed in boxes. Out on some pier in Miami Bay, all Republican ballots. So because it was no way. I mean, you're voting for the guy's brother. It's his first time around. The dude, they love him in Florida. I mean, they just loved him. There's no other way to say it. He's one of the highest rated governors of the state. And yet Florida was going to vote. I just had issues with that. And even after they finally proved the Republicans won, they still wouldn't give it up. And then they got mad because Bush wanted to do the same. I mean, Trump wanted to do the same thing. Somebody should actually shove that Florida shit in the Democrats' face every time they talk about Trump. Because really and truly, they said it was rigged. It was fixed. It was this. It was that. It was that. It was this. Well, Christopher Dade County is a big Democratic county, but the thing of it is those Democrats voted Republican for Jeb Bush, just like these Democrats voted for DeSantis. Yeah, hardcore. I mean, he pulled almost 50% of the Democratic vote in the state. Both of them did. So why would they go vote against, really, Al Gore? Who the hell he wanted Al Gore to run? He's a crybaby. I'm sorry. He was the global warming guy. Mm-hmm. Who had the biggest carbon footprint of anybody on the planet for almost a full decade. But yeah, global warming.
And he's a Rhodes Scholar. He doesn't know how to spell the plural of potatoes or tomatoes. And he had, was it a fifth grader had to show him how to do it?
I don't know. No, that was what's his name?
That was Quayle. That was Vice President.
Oh, okay.
Quayle. Yeah, that was Quayle. That was Queer Quail. He was that was another doofball, man. I don't understand it. So we really do have brilliant people in this country. I mean, really brilliant people, and none of them ever get into politics.
You know why?
That's because they're brilliant.
Because they're smart. Get out of
Wait, you know, they asked Jeff Bezos. He said, "I would lose money if I got into politics." He said, "I'd be going backwards, not forwards."
I think Trump.
Although if you want to join a highly successful hedge fund, run for Congress.
Yeah.
You know, because they can even do insider trading. How sweet!
They have hedge funds that follow their trades and make investments. They literally track Congress. Yeah,
because Congress got insider trading, and they tried to stop this 4 different times. I don't understand that. Okay, they put what's her name in there, Martha Cookie Girl, in jail for 6 months because she did insider trading from a tip she got from Congress, by the way.
Yeah, a congressman.
But these guys do it on a daily basis, and but it's okay for us. Insider trading is insider trading, people. So what we're talking
about, illegal, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, it's like somebody's giving me a tip that Elon's got a new rocket coming out, or he's got this ship going to go to Mars, and it's all this new stuff. So, bam, you can get in and invest right off the bat. The stock jumps 2 days later, 100, 500, 1,000%. You just sell out. You done made a small fortune. It's just cheating for the rest of us because none of us get to do that. We got to do it the hard way. We got to take the long way around. So, no, I do. I call it gambling when you're doing Bitcoin, but. Bitcoin can be stable. Bitcoin, I just don't trust Bitcoin because I don't know if it's actually going to be here forever. Sometimes I think it is. Sometimes I think it's not. So I just do what I can do. And recently I made a good bit of money in it, but that's because it went up real fast for about a month. And
but it's not backed by anything. It's not federally insured.
No, it's not backed by anything.
And I don't even think it's nationally
recognized.
It is national. Yeah. But
And then a friend of mine showed me how you can make money in 3 and 5 minute nodes. And if you got a lot of money, you can make a lot of money. So they got places you can go, and you can follow it's not just a Bitcoin, any of the coins. You can follow them, and when you start to notice an upward trend, you think it's going to run. You can take a 5-minute bet. It's not even a bet. You can buy a 5-minute thing. So let's say you got $50,000 in, and it jumps up 65%, and you sell out on the 6th of the minute. See, to me, that should be illegal, but it's not because nobody knows anything about freaking Bitcoin. Because it's well, no, Chris, technically it's not real money. It's nothing. It's electronics. Yeah. It's very
it's backed by no kind of actual. You can't turn it in for any kind of goods or services.
Look at the poor guy who had $28 billion on his computer, and somebody hacked him and got it, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's not even a law to enforce on this. It's dangerous. Well, look at what that guy. What was his name? Sam? What's his face?
Bankman-Fried.
Yeah. How much money did he take people for? I mean, it was 138 million. It was 138 billion. It was some ridiculous amount of money, people, and he's going to go to jail. But I don't even think he's going to go to jail for a long time.
But Joe, it's effective altruism.
It is that. It's
remember that? Remember that crap? I like to invest in effective altruism. It's great. It's going to help society. And then he just takes everybody's money in the Bahamas.
Yeah, no.
Bermuda, wherever he was.
Look how much money Al Gore's made off of carbon chips. No, Frank, so far I haven't seen him do anything with this. So you go to these companies, you have a guilty conscience, you give them $100,000 to offset carbon. As far as I know, 3 or 4 of these companies either went bankrupt or got in trouble for fraud because it's nothing. You're giving somebody money for the sake of giving them money. They're not really doing anything. They don't like have any big programs where and let's be honest, but I've talked to, like I said, I've got a bachelor's in science, and I've talked to several engineers lately. Yeah, and I've been talking about this for about 10 years. I don't understand why we don't make just carbon scrubbers, put one on the top of every building in this freaking country, along the ocean lines, put the big ones out there. Instead of windmills, put them bitches out there. So the estimated time with the ones they're talking about, it would take less than 5 years to remove the carbon from the planet. And if every country did it, it would take less than 18 months. 18 months. And what we're doing, we're worrying about global climate and how we're going to kill each other because we don't really care.
But Joe, who will eat the bugs? Who will eat the bugs?
That's all right. Who's eating? No, because they don't care, people. They don't give a shit. They don't care if you die from radiation. They got a big old temple on the ground somewhere. They don't give a shit about you.
Klaus cares. Klaus
or
cares.
yeah, or you'll be one of the first ones to live on Mars with Elon. I mean, or maybe somewhere else for that matter. Well, they just found out. They think. I was going to say Betelgeuse. It's not Betelgeuse. It is Proxima Centauri b. They think may have life on it. They think it has oceans and stuff on it. Some kind of new chemical they found suggests that there may be life there. We're going to keep. Look, I'm telling you, I've been saying this for 3 decades. Life is the norm. It's not the ad norm. It's everywhere. And I guarantee in this solar system, we're going to find life in at least a dozen or more places.
Joe, this is how they're doing disclosure. They're going to start with something distant. They're going to say there's life there. Then there's going to be some other announcement. And then, within a few years, they'll say, well, there's actually life on Mars. The methane cycle demonstrates it. Here's some pictures that we may have stumbled upon in the last week. I mean, they've known it for.
There's Venus too. I mean, there's at least 3 planets in this solar system that are or had life.
Yeah, not to mention moons, right? You probably have something
not
on
mention
Europa.
moons.
Yeah, Enceladus, Io.
Well, we've been talking about the desensitization program for about 4 decades now, and all it is, it's just a program they run. They've been running it because they need to get not us 3, but the other us 3 that don't believe in anything or understand anything. They need to get them to know that something's coming. So it started out really simple. You go back about 300 years, you'll start seeing more and more sci-fi directed towards space. And then as things go along, you see more and more and more and more and more. And now sci-fi, especially space sci-fi, is big business in our country, and not just in our country, around the world now. And there's all sorts of aliens. So when we talk about aliens, it's just a thing in the back of our head now because you're just thinking it's a Marvel, DC movie or something. So, but the next phase will be more than likely an artifact somewhere. They can find a bug, but it would be better. And more than likely what they'll do is they'll find a plant or a bug first, probably on Mars. And they'll say, look, we found this, proves that there's life in our solar system. Okay, that's good. But do you feel threatened? I don't feel threatened by some freaking bug on Mars. So I'm not really worried about it. So, a little time goes by, might be a decade, might be 100 years, who knows. And then bam, somebody somewhere is going to find an artifact. Old and ancient, raggedy old piece of crap, probably 1 million years old. But it's going to prove that there was life other than us and in this solar system. So that gets people, they're gone now. Why worry about it? And then the next thing will be, guess what? Y'all want to see what's on TV tonight?
Full invasion.
Well, I hope they're not invading us. I hope one of them just stops by and says hi. And that's the other thing. Can you trust the government, especially now with AI, if aliens did show up to be aliens? I mean, with AI, you can do anything with AI, people. I'm amazed at some of the shit you can do. And now
that's also part of it. I mean, in one of the Star Trek movies, when they go to Spock's brother to find the planet of God, Kirk asked the best question: how do you know it's God? How do you ID God? So alien
I want to see some ID,
from another planet. How do you ID them? You're from Alpha Centauri. How can we prove it? We don't have the means or technology to verify anyone who comes to this planet says they're from another planet. We
can find out if they're from here or not.
Maybe genetically, but we can't verify. We can't go back to their planet and verify.
Well, yeah. See, we'd have that's the only way we could prove if they were someday is if we could go there, or if we could see there, one or the other. And then we got they got a new telescope coming out, and I think it's scheduled for 2040 or 2036.
Yes, I think 2036.
It gets deeper than James Webb, but it's different in the things it's looking for. It's designed to really look for
planets.
Yeah, and it's designed. Yeah, it's designed to look for not just life on planets, but signs of industrialism or things like that. Certain types of chemicals. Because just recently, James Webb found some chemicals out some planet about 50 light years out that suggest that there's some type of technology being used, like it's industrialized. And there's no way for them to prove it, and James Webb can't see clear enough to know for sure. But they've been talking about it for about 2 weeks now, and but it doesn't prove anything. And the chemical tests are inconclusive. They need something that looks directly for. So NASA's changed its parameters. Not just NASA, by the way. SETI's changing its parameters on how it's going to find life. About freaking time, SETI. I got so much SETI time. You don't even know how much SETI time I got. I'd have to go look at it right now. I mean, literally, it's probably hundreds of millions of hours by now. I've been running them since it came out.
Joe, they're still looking for radio waves.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Like any sufficiently, like any civilization slightly more advanced from us is either going to use the A potential, which is kind of a quantum communication thing, or maybe gravity waves, and we just proved that gravity waves existed like in 2015.
Yeah, well,
right?
or something that crossed through dimensions. We don't really. So radio waves is looking for a technology like us, which all it means if we do find some. So it's 100 light years out. So it's a 200-year trip for that voice back and forth. We're even telling what they are, but and nobody's getting there. I mean, we don't have any technology that can go 100 light years out, and not in 100 years. Even then, I mean, even if we go fast as light, it's still a 100-year trip. Stepping stones are the only thing for us.
The even weirder thing about SETI is they sent out that signal, the first signal. I don't remember what year it was, but very, very early, like 60s, early 70s. And the message was devised by Carl Sagan, and I don't know the guy's first name, but Drake, another scientist named Drake, who actually came up with the Drake equation, which it's the dumbest equation for is there life in the universe or not I've ever seen in my life. But they sent that message out through the Arecibo telescope, and then allegedly got a reply back in 71 or 73.
Is that the WOW signal?
The WOW signal, yeah. This is 73. Allegedly, they got the reply by that. But then they also, Sagan, I don't think Drake was as involved, but I know Carl Sagan was involved in putting the plaque on the Viking, the probe that
Voyager.
Voyager. Thank you. He put the plaque on there that has it's like a binary digital code of where the spaceship came from, our DNA tract, what our basic human form looks like, what planet we're on, our basic math and numerical system, and several other things in binary code that only an advanced civilization who knows binary messaging would know what this plaque means. And then allegedly, it's 2014, sometime 2000 teens, there was a crop circle reply of that same plaque that it had a different picture of the radio that was sent the signal. It had a different picture of a dude. The DNA was different. The planets were different. The math system was the same, but it was a direct correlation. And it was next to a picture of an alien face with more binary code written in it. And
that's how you know it was one of us.
Direct answers. So, I mean, it had either been someone from our planet who did it or.
Well, and they translated some of it too. It basically, the message was like, there's life out there. Your leaders are lying to you. Like it was very direct.
It was something to the effect that there's good out there. There's people out there that are trying to deceive you. Something.
Yeah. Something like that.
Conduit terminates, and then it's a very strange cryptic message with the very strange cryptic bio plaque, I guess, is whatever you call that thing they sent that matches the Voyager plaque.
And then there are people who will tell you that the crop circles are hoaxes, but there's a way that I think the radiation emanates that the
it's easy. It's easy to prove a hoax and not so. Yeah. On if they don't have expulsion cavities, it's a hoax. So you'll find a couple of things. One, the stalks aren't bent, but where the knots are on them is blown out. Yeah, so it's blown out.
They're blown out, but then it bends like directly below that burnout.
Yes,
knot.
It comes over. Plus, there have been lots of this weird silicone stuff found in the areas. The other ones are easy to tell. When you stomp them down, you're stomping them down. Which
you're damaging the stalk.
The one Jay was talking about was proven to be a hoax, but the one with the big alien disc with the big alien, that was also a hoax. A bunch of stuff that was because I'm gonna tell y'all something. So what I think crop circles really are, because they really never showed up into the United States until modern times. The only place they really showed up for the last 2,000 years was the UK, and in specific areas. It looks more like
France and Spain.
It looks more like a sign saying, "Hey, Bob was here. We took care of this." And then they go from there. I don't even think it was meant for us. I really think it was just away from them when they were going over to see if somebody had been in this particular area or did a particular thing. Even though they're telepathic, it just seemed to be what it was because it was so long, and no one's really. The only people have ever seen any being formed always said they seen these really white spinny things, not a big UFO, but something probably like an orb, say like yay big around, just zinging around, and they've seen them on many occasions. And those you can see, the ones that are hoax, though, the reason you can tell a hoax is because they're stomped down, and sometimes you'll find pin marks where they were like putting the mark for the turn, on the stalk, stupid stuff. But so I mean, most of them are hoax, but there are some legit ones, and then of course there are two guys that says it's the chaos theory that causes wormholes. I mean wormholes that causes them when they spin. They are always the same way. It's the chaoticness of the force making her spin.
Oh, the Coriolis force.
Yeah. So I was like.
And I thought that it could be some strange, electromagnetic phenomenon, some sort of byproduct of our magnetic atmosphere that sometimes that it just these. And I thought maybe it was, the catalyst was maybe a plasma ball or something, just would go into these crop circles or into these crops and just as it spins through it, do that damage and just make random, like snowflake kind of designs. Like no one design is ever the same.
We worked with the top 4 crop circle people in the world. And then it was kind of strange because we were getting these. So the crop circles, so that you can go back to I think it's 2,500 years ago. So they've got measurements of these crop circles, and they've got measurements all the way up until modern times. They were always the same measurement. Width and length were always the same. It was a circle. It was the circle itself was the same in all of them for 2,500 years. It wasn't until this got on television that the crop circles actually started changing. So I don't think it had anything to do with ET. I think almost anything you find that's not the traditional crop circle is probably a hoax. And I had the 3 top best hoaxes in the world come on our show and talk about the ones they did. They did some really good ones, and they videotaped them. So there's no, you can't say they didn't do them. They videotaped them. They did some really. I was impressed. The boys had skill. I don't know how you image that
out there.
Yeah, I don't know how you image that, but all the big crop circle people will tell you if it's a really involved one, it's not an alien. It's or whatever creates them. It's not that. It's something else. It's they tend to be very strict on what they think is crop circles and what they think is not. And that's the first thing they look for is the expulsion cavities. But there's a few other things they look for. So in the grain and kernels, about every 6 or 7 one will have where it was about to pop or it pops. So you can't really do that when you're faking them. I guess unless you go out there with a blowtorch, but it's not going to work right. So this is just it's something that's only happens in the crop circles. And
another thing about some of the legit circles is that the people that have been in the area just prior to them showing up swear that they weren't there moments ago, and that they
and I've heard that. I've heard that too. Well, I can tell you right now, if Jimmy Reese is listening, he's cursing me, telling he's going to probably consider some of what I said. Crop circle is his secrets, man. He'll be calling me tomorrow. You SOB, you can't be telling him shit like that. But you know what? Crop circles have kind of gone the way of the dodo bird.
Yeah, they're not.
They were a fad.
They're rarely talked about.
Another thing that proves that most of them were man-made because it was a fad, and I don't think aliens do fads, like at least not in the way we think of it.
No, I mean, I guarantee you there are some marks on this planet that are done by other intelligences to direct future visitors to when you go to California and you want to look at certain things, you don't just go, where is it? You follow a map or you see certain signs, this way to the giant ball of twine, So there's got to be place markers on this planet from our alien visitors. And I think some of that you'll see in Nazca. Some of those lines may not exactly direct anyone to another architectural feature, but they guarantee they point to something that's of interest to those people. It may not be of interest to us. Might not be a place marker that we would follow, but I guarantee you there are place markers on this planet for people.
The thing I find interesting about the thing I find most interesting about the Nazca lines is you can see them from space. It's it's not that's the problem with the whole thing with the Nazca lines. These things were done in a way.
There are three things that can be seen from space, and that is Nazca lines, the Great Wall of China, and the area of the 3 pyramids. You can't really necessarily see the lion statue, the Sphinx. And you can vaguely make out the shape of the three large pyramids. But after a certain height, they just disappear into the background.
What are you talking about, Ron? Oh, the ones on Mars. Well, we don't know if they're pyramids or not. We haven't got there
they're
yet.
vaguely pyramid shaped. One's a pentagon shaped. So we have never seen a pentagon.
Well, they're five to start off with, Jackie. They're 5-sided pyramids. They're not 4-sided pyramids. Yes. They're 5-sided. The problem with those are
our pyramids aren't 4-sided either. They're 8-sided. The ones in Egypt are 8-sided.
So I don't know what these are. It looks very man-made or something created. It's that whole area looks very. When you look at it, if a pyramid's aside, when you look at that from above, it looks like any set of ruins in any place I've seen in overseas. It just looks just like them, walls sticking out, roads, things cut through. You don't even have to look at the pyramids. You can just put them aside and don't even worry about those. There is definitely some type of something was built there at one time or another.
And one could say that things are too randomly placed there to be randomly placed there.
Well, it just looks like it actually, I hate to say it, the way it looks like some type of human construction. I mean, it's too close to stuff you see like in the Middle East right now that they're digging up. I mean, they just look too similar. Now, South American architecture is different, guys. Yeah, it's not the same. It's the way they lay stuff out in South America is different than the way they laid stuff out in the Middle East. Yeah, well, that's where they find the most ruins in those two areas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The pyramids in the South and Central America are extremely ornate, whereas the ones in Egypt there's nothing. I mean, aside from the best called graffiti inside the Cheops. It says something about Khufu's pyramid. There's no writing in any of those pyramids. There's none whatsoever. No hieroglyphs, no paper, no nothing. And there's no actual hieroglyphic papers or stones that even talk about building the pyramids. There are some pyramid texts which talk about creating the cover stones for the pyramid. What are they covering?
Well,
we don't know what's underneath those stones.
My problem is I don't even know how they built the damn thing. I don't know how anybody was breathing once they got in a level. They weren't breathing with no torches. Damn torches would have sucked all the oxygen out there.
Yeah, there's no torch, no soot inside those walls. But the Egyptians could not have cut the stone that's underneath the limestone. Underneath the cover stones is red granite from 60, 70 miles away at Aswan. And they didn't have the tools to cut that hard of a stone. They could easily cut the limestone into nice blocks and cover up what was there, but they didn't build what was there or what's under there.
Maybe they knew how to use water. There are some signs that some of the ancient world understood how to use water pressure to cut stuff.
I don't think you can get water to a tight enough jet beam to make a laser cut on.
Well, we can. I don't know if they can, but we can. We can easily do it. As far as I know, there's nothing on this planet that water can't cut when it's done right. It cuts through steel like it's butter. Just you can watch it.
And it took how many thousands of years for it to cut the Grand Canyon. It is one of the best acids on the planet, but I don't think that's the answer.
This is sheer pressure. They when they use water to cut, it's just sheer pressure. It's like when you're using your pressure washer, 3100 pressure washer. It blows out all the mortar.
But it's not something. It's not a tool you would use in a building situation. Cliff Dunn is right about one thing: is when they were building these pyramids, they would get to a point where they needed a rock of specific dimensions. They had to tell the limestone workers or the granite stone workers, we need this, X by Y by Z, stat, and then maybe not that day, but the following day or the day after, that stone was cut to those parameters and then slid into place. You can't do that if you have a machine that uses that much water to cut. I don't know how long would it take for them to cut a stone that's 16,000 tons into a square.
Well,
a month, a year.
No, if it was a real pressured machine, all of about 15 minutes. It's but that's the problem. We're talking what we use with big pressure tanks and stuff.
Yeah, the machine is too big to use on a building site.
No, you could use it on a building site, but you wouldn't want to because of the water. You would want it to be away. One, you want it close to a water source, and two, you don't want all that water on a sandy job site because it's going to turn into slush and mud.
That's exactly my point. You want that machine at the quarry, getting the bulk piece out that's close to the size you want. Then you get it to the job site, and you're like, all right, we need it shaped to this size. and then that stone is reshaped there on the job site to fit that parameter, and then the next stone, and then the next stone, and the next stone, and they just you have to do it that way, because when you're building something, first of all, you need to have a nice blueprint, especially for a building of that scientific nature, of that precision nature. You must have a blueprint. There are no blueprints. Where are the blueprints? Find them. Nobody's got them.
Yeah, because they killed them and burned them bitches, man. They killed the people who knew about it.
They burnt the stone. No, if the Egyptians made these pyramids, the blueprints for this are not on papyrus. They're on some clay tablet baked somewhere and then solidified.
I'm telling you, the whatever it is, whoever would have been the priest would have killed anybody involved with it and destroyed any mentions of it. Why do you think? Think about this in the beginning. So Khufu starts building pyramids, right? He builds this one. He's the guy who built the bent pyramid. So you can see the progression of building pyramids. The
ziggurat tour that goes like that.
Yeah. So he built 4 pyramids, with the last one being a true pyramid. Not a big pyramid, still a true pyramid. But you can see the progression of how he learned to do it. So we know the Egyptians. Yeah, we know the Egyptians did this technology themselves. Now, whether we're getting some guidance from somewhere, I don't know. I wasn't there. But they actually, because of those 4 pyramids, you can see how the Egyptians learned how to do this through these technologies. And of course, like any technology, as things go along, your tools get better, the way people do things get better, and so on and so forth. And as long as they want that building curve, but you can't find blueprints for any pyramid.
No, you can't find blueprints for any of them. You can't find any like pyramid texts that talk about building materials. The only building materials that are talked about are in the pyramid text, and they talk about the limestone cover stones only. They don't talk about the granite.
And you know what? It would have been anybody but important people in them. You would have probably got blueprints, but since it was,
you're not seeing any ledgers for what the slaves were given, because they had to have, even though they weren't paying any slave work that was going on there.
Well, okay. Well, first let's stop for a minute.
If slaves were being used, they would have had a ledger of how much food was being consumed.
It ain't even
They would have a ledger of how much money was being paid to specific workers that are cutting the stones and moving the stones. None of that exists.
Yeah, because the majority of people who worked in the pyramids were not actually slaves; they were actually employees.
Yeah,
it took a long. So this killed, and actually there is ledgers. I'll tell you. So what happened is the Cairo Museum got into it with the London Museum, because the London Museum was saying it was all slaves, and they're like, no. Most of these people were paid employees. So Cairo's got ledgers. They pulled them out and said, no, look, see, this is where they were paying their employees to do this. They even got how much bread was being consumed a day, how much other stuff was being consumed a day. There even was some kind of liquor. I guess it was liquor. I don't
probably don't beer.
Know. It was. I think it was a meat of some kind.
Beer is both medicine and food.
Yeah, they do
antibiotic in nature, so.
But none of those ledgers were from the Great Pyramids, by the way. As far as I know, they were from the smaller pyramids.
They don't have any. They have them for some of those 4 smaller ones. But one of the things that, you're right about the progression of them building those 4 or 5 or 6 pyramids and getting better and better as they go. But were those built in congruence with the pyramids of Giza? I think they were built after those pyramids were built. And I think that no matter how many times you build a pyramid, it's not going to teach you how to get lucky to precisely align the next building so you're only 0.025 off of true north, south, east, and west on all 4 sides of the building. That's impossible. It is such a happy mistake to have built a building so close to being, and like I said, the buildings are 8-sided, so the faces of the pyramids, they bend in like this, and that line going down the middle of each facade faces north, east, southwest, and the corners face the northwest, southwest, southeast, and what have you. You can't align a building.
It was a little different back then.
The Egyptians did not have the
compass. Think about this, Jake. Think about how great our construction today would be. Is if you fucked up, you got your head chopped off. It give you much more incentive to be perfect, man. I'm just saying. It would give you much more incentive.
Within a half a foot of true square instead of a foot of true square.
We've built some good stuff, and it's weird because when you talk about the pyramids, like everybody always wants to compare the Mesoamerican pyramids, but it's a whole different type of building.
Different type of construction.
Yeah, they didn't stack blocks. Yeah, they actually did it different. They built outer walls and then filled the inner walls and went up from there. So the inner walls are actually the Mayan temples and all that are actually debris rock up in there. It's a whole different style of building. And it was actually probably a faster way of building.
And you'll notice that the buildings are much more ornately decorated. You know, they got snakes and motifs and things going down the sides and tops of them.
Yeah, they were those pyramids were being used.
Buildings that people were going in and out of. You know, the pyramids seem to have been some sort of chemical plants that made some sort of, you know, chemical stew.
Yeah, it was just a different. No, John, it was just a different way of building. Kublai was his name. That wasn't the sun god, I believe that's who it was, the sun god. The Mayans, Aztecs, Inks, and well, first off, they're probably all just descendants of the Toltecs, and you can kind of go with this because the greatest thing the Toltecs ever did was to create the Chihuahua, and so they the ones that took that dog and turned that dog into something, and then the dog got lost and disappeared for I don't know 100, 200, 300, 500 years or so. And I think it was the Mayans that found it.
No, it was Joe Montaldo.
No, whichever one the Cortez, whoever Cortez decided to kill, that's who found it. Like 600 or 700 years later, and put it back to being a regular household and a mouse catcher and a live in my house dog. And then, of course, when they were wiped out by Cortez, the dog disappeared yet again. And then in 1880, it was found in Chihuahua, Mexico, and brought to England. And since then, it's been way up there in the breed for a long time. They're demons, man. If them dogs were big, they would be dangerous. Yes, no. If they were big, my Chihuahua.
I disagree. I think if they were big, like a Great Dane, they'd have the Great Dane mentality. I think most of the small animals tend to be a little bit more aggressive and angry and bark more. And I think it's just a self-defense mechanism. So that have you ever seen a Great Dane and a Chihuahua actually meet, and then neither has either seen that breed before? The Great Danes are terrified of these things. I mean, it's this little fucking pardon my French, this little ball of naked, Mexican fluff. The face on the Great Dane that saw this dog when I saw this happen, it was just pure terror, absolute terror. The dog was so scared of this little Chihuahua.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Chihuahuas are demons. I used to watch them. My lady had 5 of them in her house, and the guy next door had a Siberian husky, mean old husky too. Every time he'd get out, he'd try to eat one. So what would happen is all 5 would attack him. They'd get underneath and start chomping on, vital parts. Eventually he learned to leave him alone. Yeah. They just, cause man, one would grab one would grab the other, one would grab underneath that poor dog didn't know what to do. If he could have got hold of one of them, he'd have killed him. You can bet your ass on that, but it just wasn't working out for him. No, my other my 2 males were stupid. Max, who was 5 pounds, he saw a Rottweiler one day. He walked out there like, this is my yard. Get the bleep out of my yard. Put his big old chest out there, which was all about this big, and just went after the Rottweiler. He was about halfway to the dog when I reached out and just grabbed him mid-flight, pulled him back, and Rottweiler's looking at him like, dude, you could have been lunch. You know that, right?
Yeah, he was lunch. He'd been an appetizer.
He said, just walked off, like, you stupid dog. No,
like
Chris. So
weenie.
I know we've been off on tantrums, but no, the Ukrainian war. So let's talk about Uncle Putin for a while. So
Uncle Putin.
He's first off, he's been threatening everybody. So he's starting to sound like Kim Jong Un.
He said he's going to nuke London,
Berlin,
Kiev,
and Berlin. Yeah. So I just I'm thinking, dude, you must be smoking something up there that they're not sharing with the rest of the planet. Because I mean, come on,
he must be getting the good stuff because we ain't getting.
Obviously, that Siberian blue has got to be something good because his brain is out there.
Oh my god!
What do you mean, Chris? No, he's on. Well, hearsay he's been going through chemo.
Well, and he's got the Alzheimer's kind of thing, so he's probably got medicine for that too.
Because they said all this, and then he denied it. And then something leaked. He went to Cuba for his cancer treatment, and it got leaked. And they say Cuba's got one of the best cancer places on the freaking planet. Can you believe that? All the dictators go there. Yeah, the guy from Venezuela.
Hollywood's been going there for years. They've been going to some guy over there.
I mean, they can't even get a car newer than a '55 Chevy, but yeah, they got the best cancer. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey. Joe, though, those 57 Chevys that got there look brand new and pristine. They take good care of them.
I know they do. And my brother wanted to go down there. My brother and my partner wanted to go down there when Obama got it opened up. He wanted to go down there and just buy as many as we could and bring them home. But they were like, no. So the guy in Cuba said, I won't sell it to you, but I'll trade you for something newer. I'm thinking, shit, I'll give you my Camry, dude.
Yeah.
I take it. The Camry, man. Come on. I'll give you a Kia, man. I give you the other. I don't like American cars. Unless they're muscle cars, I don't like American cars.
Well, a 57 Buick probably got about 28, 30 gallons to the 30 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, the
Those
only
cars
matter of fact,
actually efficient.
Yeah, the only I like my F-150s. Yeah, I like them. But other than that, no, I'm not a big American car fan. Because you want to know the real reason why? Okay, I'll put it out bluntly. You can take a Malibu and you might get good 200,000 miles out of it. The Camry I got will go 400,000 to 500,000 miles without any major maintenance other than oil change, a little work here and there. That's it. The American car is not going to get nowhere near it. My Ford truck, which was babied from the day I bought it, made it 250,000 miles and said, that just American cars are just not designed because it's that shit. We can't have it going too far because you won't buy a new one.
Yeah. And they want it to eat a lot of gas, like be inefficient gas bus, so you buy more gas.
Plus, Toyota and them do stuff that you have to pay extra for an American car. Toyota gives you. Oh yeah, premium sound, premium wheels. That comes with the car. In America, you got to pay extra for that.
2021 Camry, and it's like a mid-grade level, LE class, and it's like, I mean, it's like a Cadillac inside. It's nice inside. I mean, I've got cruise control. I've got it doesn't drive by itself, but it kind of sort of does. It has this thing that it senses the lines on the side of the road, and if you let go of the steering wheel, it'll center itself in the lane, and then after a while it'll say, "Put your hands on the wheel." But it almost kind of sort of practically drives by itself. When I'm driving with it, I don't have to I just keep my hand on the wheel so that it must have a sensor that senses that you're holding the wheel, and it'll guide itself through light curves while it's driving. I don't have to turn the wheel at all. It's amazing.
You know what fools it is when the road splits,
or
there's
line,
no line. Yeah, there's broken line.
It
gets confused with that. Yeah. Now, when my mom was passing, I was driving her Cadillac back and forth from Atlanta. It was full drive, so it was really nice because I'd lock it in the cruise control at about 85, so I would tuck in between two of the super rigs and I'd put it on automate, following the car in front of us. So we'd do whatever the vehicle in front of us was doing, it would do. So I just let it drive and hope nobody got off the interstate if I fell asleep or some shit. But it starts beeping if you're getting off. But still, it was a great feature. It was really nice, and some of the newer ones are even better. But we don't have True Drive yet. And no, what do you mean? We just told you Russia got 5,888 nukes. Yes, they got more. They got more nukes than anybody else. I think the United States is second. France, if somebody, is third. No. China's third with 500. I think France has got like 290. Britain's got like 200. India's got like 194. Pakistan, I think Pakistan's got like 180. Pakistan's got like 190, and India's got like 186 or something. Israel has 90. Yes, Israel. You want to talk about blood to the cradle? That's Israel's got 90 in the Middle East. That should just scare everybody. And
and people not ever should think about this. How many times has Israel been attacked? For no good reason, really. And recently, and they haven't launched any of those 90 nukes. Think about that.
Well, they're the only ones that have.
They came close.
Yeah.
They came close
in 1973. They wanted to, but I mean,
that's what that. No, John, that's what the stupid movie Broken Arrow was made out of. We almost lost some. And it wasn't quite that scenario, but we almost lost. At least on 2 occasions, the U.S. came close to losing nukes.
I think there's at least 3 occasions where they lost at least a couple of them. They don't know where they went to, what happened to them.
And then, Russia did. Russia lost 3 They lost 3 suitcase nukes for sure that we know of, and 2 tactical yield nukes of 5 kilotons each. That's the ones that's what they fessed up to. We don't know what else they lost, but that's what they fessed. And Russia also said that before it got all of its nukes back from its satellites, like the Ukraine and some of the other ones that had nukes, some of those may have gone missing.
Have been sold. Some were sold off allegedly.
But since no one's dropped a nuke on anybody anywhere, I'm kind of wondering if any of it was true or not. Because that's 2 decades now. No one's used any of them. I find that hard to believe that somebody in the Middle East would have got a nuke.
Once you do that, the spotlight is on you. So you got to pick and choose your one target. Once you light that nuke off,
now
when they find out it's you, the spotlight is on you, and the whole world's coming after you. So you got to. You got to be smart about it.
Well, Jack. So, Jack, you think they're just getting them and they're bringing them to the United States and they're been hiding them in the U.S. until they're ready to blow them all up at one time? Well, you could be right, but first off, you can't just bring a nuke in. Yeah, you let me tell you what. It's not even just crossing through a border spot because they're going to catch you there instantly when they're scanning. But we scan our borders all the time from space. You ain't just crossing with a nuke. So you can bury it in a bunch of concrete or maybe in some lead cases or something. Sooner or later, you have to take that nuke out that case. And when you do, it's going to freaking trigger alarms all over the place. Our country was deliberate. This was done deliberately a long time ago because it's not just nukes the U.S. has to worry about. We ship a lot of nuclear waste across our country, and not just military nuclear waste. A lot of this shit comes from hospitals. So any of this can be turned into a dirty bomb. So the United States is very strict on how nukes are moved around, how anything's moved around, and we're constantly scanning. Matter of fact, there's a map, you can probably still find it online, that shows where the places that the United States already knows there's nuclear stuff there, like hospitals, way stations, Yucca Mountain, Wicca facility. I learned a lot because a good friend of mine worked at the Wicca facility for a while, and I learned a lot about how the government moves stuff around. It was kind of spooky, actually. There's no big trains. There's no big loads of people following. There's no military escort. Nope. It's usually in some truck, like an ice cream truck or something. It's just cruising along down the highway. It just scares them.
Yeah, it will go by locations and cities that have large radio nuclear medicine facilities to help mask its signature on its way to where it's going.
It'll be hard. I mean, but like I said, somewhere along the line, you'll have to take, if you're going to use it, you're going to have to take it out the case. And once
even if you don't have to take it out of the case, once you arm it and turn it on and it becomes nuclear active,
well, that's what I'm saying. To do that, when you do that, you have to take it out the case. You got to open a case to arm it. So that's the problem. Anything that can keep it shielded where we can't see it, no remote's going to go through it. So somewhere you've got to open it. And as soon as that bitch opens up, one of them satellites going to go beep, 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 beep. And then DH is going to go on top of your ass. They've actually caught, see, they don't talk about this much, but they've actually caught people in the United States with nuclear materials, not like plutonium or stuff like that, but usually waste materials. So they caught two guys who were working on making a waste bomb. This was in 81, I think it was, from radioactive water left behind by, or maybe it was 83. It was from 3 Mile Island. They were working there. They used to work there. Yeah. And they actually got, I think it was 250 gallons of this contaminated water and highly radioactive.
They were just going to explode it. They either call it heavy water or deuterium.
Yeah, they were just going to explode it in the city and say, okay. Well, people, you got to remember, not everybody likes America. I mean, we like ourselves, and
there
Sean
are
and
Americans
I, and Jay
likes
us,
actually.
But I mean, well, most of Europeans like Americans. They like to bitch about Americans, but they like about Americans. Yeah, you always see us in their movies. Oh yeah, actually, I didn't realize this, and we used to install satellites way back when, big satellite dishes in people's yards, which is still the best way to get TV, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. You get like 10,000 channels, and it's almost impossible for people like HBO and them to block you out because they got these little scramble boxes that just blow right through their shit like it's nothing. So I mean, you get to see like French television, German television. No, there's no translation. You can buy a translator box if you want, but that's going to either you can do one that is voiced or text. But there's so much shit to see. Because you're getting in everybody's stuff. It's not just American stuff, and it shows you the different time zones around the world. It was fabulous. A friend of mine, Gary, owned a company doing it. Every now and then I get lost at work just flipping through, looking at shit. Oh, and if you're a child, the French commercials, here in America, all they're going to show is the bra. No, it's not how it is in France. they just walking around on television. And the first time I seen it, I said, am I watching porn? Gary's like, no, it's a French commercial. Well, get the fuck out of here. It's not a commercial. He said, yeah, watch it to the end. I watched it. It was a French commercial. No, it wasn't even a bra commercial. It was something about food. I think it was like a spaghetti commercial or something.
Nothing sells food like nudity, man. I mean,
it was stupid. I'm just saying it was stupid. Do I think so? Wait, so what you're asking? You're asking the three of us this. So you're asking. So do I think, or we think Kim Jong Un or Putin is just talking rhetoric, or do you really think something's going to happen?
For Putin, if it's going to happen, he's going to have to do it before the elections because he will not act if Trump wins. Kim Jong-un, same thing. He's just a coward. If we get Trump back, both of those two are going to quiet down. The Israel thing might flare up.
Israel's not going to shut up for nothing. Good.
I think part of the calculation of Putin is, I mean, not entirely, but there's got to be some level of deterrence, right? There also has to be, I think he's kind of playing partially to the U.S. election, right? He's making Biden look like a weakling, scaring people, and then,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in cahoots with Trump to do this, so that Trump looks like the stronger guy. And we've already seen the Democratic Party has already paid for his campaign advertising. It's a done deal.
Yeah, pretty much all three elections.
He's in the news every day for some BS that's going on in New York and Florida. So I mean, it's just amazing.
I don't know why they thought this targeting thing was the best strategy, where they just sue them.
They're trying a noose around their own candidate's throat.
Yeah.
Well, because they thought, well, you would have thought after the Russia Hillary thing, they would have learned their lesson, because that's why he won. He wouldn't. If they would have not done the hoax and Hillary would have not done what she did, she would have won that election and been the first woman president. She probably would have barely won it, but she would have won it. But all the other shit, most of us already thought Hillary was ungodly corrupt to start off with. And all this was prove the point. First off, nobody really thought Trump had Russia ties. He was an American businessman and actor. He wasn't a big fan of Russia. He'd only ever been over there twice. Odds are he hasn't really had, because, they could find out. And that's something else the Democrats didn't want to talk about. They always said, he was there. Yeah, twice.
So what, twice?
And he didn't have any Russian friends here in the United States. They couldn't find any contacts here in the United States he was talking to that had ties to Russia. So it was just bullshit. And then the more the special counsels got into it, the more we learned. And then every weekday, I'm Chuck Schumer, and we've got the evidence now. He's going to prison, man. We've got him. Trump should get $1 billion for every time he said that. It's such bullshit. I don't understand. I don't understand why America's as stupid as this is. I mean, we're the most inventive country on the freaking planet, and yet it's like we live with a bunch of 8-year-olds. And I know my grandpa used to say this about us when I was a kid, but
be run by a bunch of preteen, hormonal teenagers. It's childish. How long ago was it when the government worked together? Did this like the 70s, I guess, mid-70s?
No, you had
80s.
Ronald Reagan. You had Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton. Yeah, Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton. They got along good. They were both bipartisan presidents. They both got shit done. Reagan brought the military back up to the strongest it's ever been, and Bill paid it off. I mean, you can't ask for better bipartisan than that. And they both had the backing of the Congress, both of them, and neither one of them had owned the Congress themselves. They were using other Congress. So they did it, and they showed you could be bipartisan. But it's the reason Obama had so much trouble. So if you look at Reagan, could cheat because he was an actor.
Yeah.
So he had,
he knew where to stand, how to afford his space.
In all fairness, he was also governor of California for 8 years. He had a little practice.
He had a lot of practice.
And the same
state.
He was well spoken, and he knew how to be slick and sly and just kind of slide on people. I watched him eat the media like for children a million times. They thought they had him. He'd just slide right. I was like that stupid movie with the Texas backstep.
He was still. He was
And then, but Clinton was the same. Clinton had been a governor for 8 years, and not the biggest state in the union by any means, but he had been in and out of Whitewater and shit. He's already been through his conspiracies. Got out of from screwing 4 women, and I mean, he was in, and he got in, and I still don't get this sex thing. Okay, I don't get it. Women are attracted to powerful men, and sometimes powerful men are just stupid. It doesn't mean they're going to wreck the country, because Bill didn't wreck the country. He did a damn good job with the country. So I mean,
he did very good.
So I'm kind of thinking maybe we misjudging people here on the wrong things. No, we're not talking about perverts.
But it's either got to be in the water or in the genes. I mean, look at Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods had this gorgeous wife, absolutely gorgeous wife.
Yeah.
And then he steps out on her with 29 or 30 other ladies. I mean, he basically had a lady in every tournament he went to.
Because he believed his own press. And that's what happens to most people. They believe their own press. And he paid for it, just like Jeff
Bezos
paid for it. Look at Jeff Bezos. Okay?
Yeah.
He knew he had $150 billion at stake, and he still did it. And guys and girls, if you're young, don't listen to this. But there ain't no piece of what worth $150 billion. I'm just putting it out there.
That's
man.
right.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Plus, he didn't even know the chick at the time. I'm kind of like,
well, they've done like biological studies on males in different species, and what happens is when, particularly with primates, when status increases, the behavior of the male changes, and they do some of this irrational stuff, right?
I was going to say the mentality,
right.
the rationing goes down. If you don't,
it's biological. It's almost purely biological, right? You can't
pretty is,
you basically have to have one of those little pages sitting next to you. Remember, thou art mortal, right? The Roman generals had, right, or the Caesars had.
When I was young,
blow it out your ass.
When I was young, I couldn't handle having a lot of money. I used to get in trouble all the time. Anytime we'd make like really big money, and back and then big money ain't the same as what it is today. But one night, I was just loaded. One night, I had my stepson with me, and I'm sitting in a club. I whip out about 10 grand in cash, and I'm just sitting there with my boots kicked up on the chair next to me, fanning myself, and just turn around, put 100 in the bar behind me. I said, "Look, all these people in this bar are my friends. Don't let it." I said, "If none of their glasses hit dry tonight, that's your 100 taken home with you." And she was just like, because I think it was like drinking with Lincoln or something that night, so we weren't actually paying for the drinks; we just paid to get in the bar. And even though I don't drink that kind of shit, but still, it was it just. It gets its ego, man. You can't let it get hold to you. See, now I'm luckier because once I met my wife, it was different, and once I met in some of my other friends, it's different because when I opened up iCar, I needed to make sure that the people around me, because of the kind of research we were doing, weren't going to let me go off on a tangent somewhere. I needed them not to be scared to say, "Hey, Joe, I think you lost your bleeping mind, man. You need to go back and check this." And the same thing is, the more famous we were getting, the more we needed to keep in check on what we were moving, because it's easy to get caught up in the bullshit, and in the fan stuff. And one of my good friends kept saying, "You should just open a cult. You should start a cult." I'm like, "Why?" He said,
"We're already in one. Why do we need another one?" He's
like, "So I mean, but it's so, and I'm not even, I'm barely famous. They got people out there, I don't even know how they deal with it sometimes. The ego rush has got to be something else. But like I said, I was lucky. I had people that would say, "What are you, stupid?" And they weren't scared to tell me something. And matter of fact, I was talking with a friend of mine at some conference, and he said something to me. This woman walked by. "You should never talk to him like that. What is wrong with you?" I mean, she tore my buddy a new ass, and he's like, just like, "You shouldn't talk to me like that. See what happens when you talk to me like that?" And that's what happened. It's easy to fall into that stuff. And then it gets weird because we were in an elevator one day, and these two girls were giggling the whole time. And later on, my wife said they wanted to talk to you, but they were scared. Like, because I go to places like that so people can talk to me. That's why I'm there. I said, "Look, I come here for y'all. I could stay at home and do whatever I want. There's nothing to be blunt. I haven't been to a conference in a decade where I've learned anything really new. I've been doing this a long time, and I'm connected with so many people in different fields. It's easy for me to stay ahead of the crowd. So the only time I go really is to meet the people. There ain't no really other reason for me to go. Jimmy, no, we're just talking about traveling. Yes. Everybody over there is weird, and y'all smoke crack. What do we got going over here? I seen a couple of y'all hit the chat earlier. Yeah, I seen it. Y'all done disappeared again, though, you bunch of wimps. Y'all are scared of Sean. I know what it is because he drove a tank. What do you think? He's going to just whip the tank out of his backyard and go blow your asses up?
No, he drove the guy out here. There used to be a guy out here, Jacques Littlefield. He had a tank farm. I mean, he had like Russian tanks. He had like T-34s. He had Sheridans. He had all sorts of tanks. And then he died. And his wife did not like those tanks.
I bet she did.
Yeah, sent them to the Four Winds. So I think they're part of the various museums. But those things are expensive to maintain. Like extremely expensive. They are.
Yeah, if you're going to keep them up, especially going to keep them in running order, man. Some of them tanks are ancient. What do you mean? So no. Okay, first off, Christopher. So you want to talk about it really? So what's going to happen is if Russia does something stupid, you have to remember now NATO has 9 countries along.
I mean, if they do something else stupid, right?
Yes. Well, something that So there's 9, but Russia shares the border with 9 NATO countries. Do you know what that means? And each one of these countries have their own different kind of tanks. We're not just all using American tanks over there. We're using German tanks. We're using tanks from like 6 different countries. That's the thing about being in the NATO. So Russia's got 2 tanks right now, and one's only good. Obviously, the other one's a piece of shit. So, I mean, every time I hear about one, it's losing its top. So I'm not even worried about them. Now we know how to kill those tanks. So they're not even going to put them in around us. Oh, no, man. We won't even use the Warthogs for those. There's no need to. I mean, they're taking them, popping them off with little Lars-looking things. Yeah, I mean, Lars, they don't call them Lars anymore. They got Stingers and something else now. But
Stingers and the feet. I think it's a Javelin is another one.
Yeah.
Javelin's anti-tank top-down attack.
It's an SLW. It's a shorter launch weapon. Yeah.
NLAWS is the British version.
Right? Yeah. There's a few countries and using different things. Oh no, that is true. The Harris system, is that what it's called? It was used, I think it was yesterday, to take out a drone operation center. So somebody at the Russian drone center, I guess, leaked some information. Probably made a cell phone call. And the Ukrainians used this American missile system basically and took them out.
Yeah, HIMARS, right?
Yeah, HIMARS. Yeah, it's. I always want to call it Harris because when I look at it, I just see it. It's when I first read it today, I kept thinking not Hamas. What's the other one in? I don't know why.
Hezbollah.
Yeah, Hezbollah. I kept thinking, is that what the hell? I'm reading something wrong. I got to stop and actually read this instead of speed reading. But it was kind of funny. But going to war with NATO is not like going to war with the United States. You're not just facing us. You're facing weapons and jets and shit from not just our country. It's not just our arsenal you got to worry about. You got to worry about all of it. It's 30. Oh, yeah. Well, there's 31 countries in NATO right now. So, and anybody who's not in NATO, that's European nations, especially if they're EU and they're not in NATO, they're gonna back them anyway. So, and if Russia starts throwing nukes around or starts throwing military around, everybody's going to join NATO.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just I don't think Putin thinks he can win a war without using nukes ever. I never thought he ever thought that. It's too hard. I mean, he couldn't take on the United States by itself, much less the United States and NATO. No. And then India is going to be in there as well. Yeah, India's been wanting to try out some of its garbage. I think it's wanting to get rid of some of its old stuff so it can buy some new stuff. Yeah, it's got some really outdated Russian crap.
That's one of the good things that war does do for countries and their economies is it does after the war, the economies tend to go up a little, particularly for the victors. The losers, not so much. But what happened at the end of World War II? How much money did we give to Japan? How much time and construction did we invest in Japan to rebuild that? And China, and any other country that was touched in Europe. Think about that. I mean, every country that is going to be touched by this war, if there is a World War III, is going to get their economies utterly obliterated and then rebuilt by the winners. And it's either going to be us or the Russians.
So here's a little weird piece of information for y'all. So Russia and most of the planet right now is low on ammo, including the United States, but China is not. China is fully locked and loaded. Matter of fact,
been shooting too many people with our stuff.
Well, we've been giving it away. We've basically been giving it away. But for some reason, we're not restockpiling it, and we usually would give it away.
There's that. Yeah, and also giving away all that ammunition and weaponry in Afghanistan and 4 pallets of hard currency.
But one of the Navy admirals got pissed and said, at this rate, we won't have enough cruise missiles to fill our subs. So he was getting really worried, and he got reprimanded for saying it in the press.
Well, everybody knows. I mean, there've been like ammunition plant fires. I think there was one in Mississippi or Missouri, a few years back, like suspicious ammunition fires. So, and the other thing too is, I mean, if we didn't have a Secretary of Defense that they couldn't locate for 3 days, maybe he would be kind of, going on to mass producing a little bit more of this stuff, because if one more conflict drops, we're in trouble.
Well, the Pentagon said the other day, and I guess at least somebody over there has got some sense, that they're going to probably take the rest of their budget and go ahead and buy ammo with it. Stockpile missiles, No, they're talking about when we say ammo, guys and girls listening to that, we mean everything. We mean for planes,
grenades,
boats,
missiles, bullets,
pistols,
gunpowder.
Yeah, every
Hercules
conceivable
powder.
weapon we have, we're short on right now. What do you mean? Oh, you mean if China attacked the United States, NATO would get involved?
All of NATO would be involved.
Yeah, they'd have to be. It's Article 5, I believe. Any country attacked in NATO, all the countries have to respond.
And look, we may not be on the best of terms with Mexico, but they will definitely jump in right away, even if they weren't already a member of NATO. This is their side of the country too, part of the planet too. China invades California. Mexico's going to have a problem with it.
Well, I might not be all upset with it. I think we could give them California if they gave us back Hong Kong. Look, I think it would be a fair trade.
Give us
Hong Kong for China.
Except my house, Joe. Except my house.
Okay, except
I would be the most vicious saboteur that the Chinese.
So Sean would stay in Cali, but the rest of no. I'm thinking Hong Kong for Cali is a good deal, man. I think we're gonna come out way better in this deal. Yeah, I think so.
Think of all the manufacturing that's in Hong Kong that we could take control of. And
what's funny is California was booming so well and doing so good and running so smooth, and then like their last two governors is like I don't know, smoking crack or something.
No, they were a little too LGBT.
Yeah, but now they don't even. Now they're running good companies out of their state. I mean, when Elon Musk gets up and says,
people are filing out of that state left and right just to move to another state because they can't stand the politics anymore.
But when you lose a customer like Leo, and he just stands up and says, you know what, I'm taking all 5 of my operations out of your state and moving them to Texas, you should realize you effed up because he's not a liberal or a conservative. So you just did something that offended somebody, a neutral person, which is never a good thing. And
get this. I saw an article this afternoon for an In-N-Out burger. And I forgive me, I didn't catch the city, but somewhere in California. And it's just the one location. It's not the whole company, but this one location is in apparently a rather rough part of town, and the company decided to permanently close the store because customers and associates alike, back and forth, are consistently getting robbed and hurt and beaten up by the community. So they're closing this one In-N-Out burger because it's in such a crime-ridden place. They can't safely run the business for their customers and their employees.
Yeah, there's a place, I think it's either in Antioch or Pittsburgh, California. It's nearby where I live, where a bunch of thugs tried to rob a convenience store, and this guy defended himself, and then he chased him, and they killed him. So our amazing DA, who is basically funded by Soros, declined to prosecute these people for murder.
Slap on their wrist, not even Jesus.
No, because California is weird about that. They're weird about if for some reason you're in some, I don't know, it's just weird.
California is the state that actually did this. They caught a guy for raping and murdering a woman who was an illegal alien. They exported him back to his country, Uruguay, Paraguay, Mexico.
He
got back in the country and raped and murdered another woman. And I don't.
The other woman was famous. The other woman was famous. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
If she wasn't famous, the case about him coming back and killing her was famous or made famous by the news. And I don't know exactly what the end of that story was, but I mean, why do you kick a guy out of the country who's raped and murdered someone, and then they come back in and do it again?
Because he probably came in illegally.
He did. That's what I'm saying. He was an illegal alien the first time and the second time. So then this is from this state. Later on, it wasn't just last year, 2 years ago, and I forget the guy's name. I think his actual name has something to do with Wiener, like Wiener Schnitzel. He voted into having a law where now California inmates, if they're feeling particularly opposite sexy, like a guy feels like a woman or a woman feels like a guy, they can be housed in the opposite sex jail. So a guy did that.
How are rapes doing in those jails? In those jails with
I don't know that.
They had put out
some guy immediately as soon as this went through. There's some guy in the male prison said, "I feel like a woman. I feel like I'm housed in the wrong place." They housed him with the women. He's now got a female inmate pregnant, and they're both up on charges for statutory rape because they're not allowed to have sex in prison together.
It's crazy.
This is the kind of laws that are being passed over there. I mean, it's the weirdest.
it gets crazier as you go.
That's
along.
nuts kind of stuff going on. You don't export a guy who's raped and killed somebody. You put that person in jail, if not, right. Execute them if they lose their jail.
We got weird. We got really weird laws about putting people in jail that are from other countries. It gets really flakily weird. And
we have laws that forbid people from putting an ice cream cone in their pocket upside down in the city of Chicago.
Yes, they got a lot of them blue laws around them on the books.
That's not a blue law. That's
no, we just call them blue laws because they're we just call them blue laws.
It's a World's Fair law because some kid probably put his ice cream cone upside down in his pocket and made a mess, so they made a whole law.
Watch your kid. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Special Counsel David Wive presents strong evidence in Hunter Biden's gun case. This little dude might be going to jail. So Hunter. So you know why he decided to come give testimony, right? Because one of the other guys who refused got 4 months in jail yesterday. So he's going to jail for 4 months. So he's worried about that. But now this guy says that not only did he buy an illegal gun, but he was on drugs and something else, and already had been pulled aside for this. So since he went to jail and he was on drugs and alcohol, when he bought the gun after they told him he couldn't own a gun, he could do 5 to 15 years. So the only thing that can help him there is Joe Biden, and I don't think they're pushing this case to finish before Joe's out of office.
Yeah, but Joe Biden can't. He can't pardon him until he's been convicted.
That's what I'm saying, and I think they're slow. I think they're slow rolling it, and but Congress got to be careful slow rolling it, because if they lose the House, then they lose the chance.
Or if they lose it, the statute of limitations comes up, bam.
Now, see, this shit here is going to get us in World War III. It's just going to put us in World War III. Ukrainian strikes back. How long range drones are giving Russia sleepless nights. So I told y'all a while back, like 2 weeks ago, that Russia had cut a corridor the Ukraine had cut a corridor in Russia by getting rid of its AAA and its advanced radar system. Now they're just shooting drones into Russia that can't even be shot down.
They're playing with fire there, because
sooner or later they're going to hit something or kill something, blow up a school, hit something in Moscow. They hit anything good in Moscow, Kiev is gone. Kiev, you might as well know you are gone. Do the drones have the
range to go to Moscow? Because
they already have. They already have.
They already have.
Yeah. They dropped bombs over the Kremlin, right? It was the Kremlin.
Yeah. No, it was the Kremlin. Well, they didn't actually hit the Kremlin,
but they shot it down. Yeah. They had like countermeasures.
And 2 were shot down, and 2 hit the targets next to it. So you screwing around? You getting with Putin's home? He's gonna come blow yours up. You just keep doing it. But I keep telling everybody, and then America and UK and Germany are ones supplying these long range drones. And we don't even need to be doing that. We need to be saying, really and truly, this was not a war we should have been into. This should have been Europe that did this. America had no business in this. This isn't territory. This isn't disputed territory for us. This is, a NATO thing and an EU thing, not a US thing. We should have just sat on the side, and what we should have done is we should have offered weapons to like the Brits and the Germans and stuff, and then they could have gave them to the Ukraine. But we should have never been directly involved in giving them weapons. These are the 2 of the largest countries on the most armed largest.
Joe, we've been more involved than that.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm just trying to be polite. Right. We've got suspicious pipelines blowing up. We got stuff all over the place that just stinks. I actually think Putin has reframed himself in a couple of areas here, because there are things he could have really retaliated against and he didn't.
Oh yeah,
and he's really pissed at the Brits. The Brits did him a couple of times. That have managed to. What's that one missile they got that's been wreaking havoc in Russia? I forgot what they call it. And it was just on the news yesterday. It's almost like a overdone concussion bomb or something. It's good to knock out like a square mile or a little larger. It's not. It's I don't know what it's carrying. It's not TNT, and it's not nuclear. Somebody said it's like a concussion wave or something. I said, well, I'll have to look it up and see exactly what it was. But I don't know. And I know Russia's got weapons that I haven't seen unless they've been lying outright. They've got things that we haven't seen rolled out in the Ukraine. Just like in Desert Storm, we only rolled out some of our stuff, not all of our stuff. So what do you mean the SR? No, there's a new SR-71. Yeah. SR-73
like the Aurora project. It's like 96
it's a beast.
or 90. I don't know. Yeah.
It might have been 90. I just seen it. I just recently seen it. It's oh no, it's a beast. It's a beast. So what kills me is, so I don't care what they try to tell you. When they tell you that the SR-71 does Mach 3, they lying to you. Okay. They're just lying outright. It is much faster than Mach 3. And I can tell you personally, I have seen it fly over an Air Force base with the whole entire nose cone glowing red. At Mach 3, that damn thing don't glow red. I've seen it flying at Mach 3, and it doesn't glow red.
At least 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's doing at least.
An hour.
A friend of mine, Ricky, who guarded them, said that they were rated to Mach 6.5. So that's beastified. And they were the first stealth plane. These things were built in the 50s, people, and it still holds the record for the fastest aircraft in the world.
It beats its own record every time it flies.
Yeah, it was stealthy, and it was fast, and nothing could shoot it down. Oh, I wouldn't say today nothing could shoot it down. We got faster missiles now. I'm not sure that we ain't got something that might be able to catch it. I don't know. I guess if it's at a full blown and you're coming out from the ground, maybe you can't catch it because it's got the upspeed. But if it's shooting from ahead of you, then you might have a problem. A Mach 5 and a Mach 6 collision. You don't even need a damn thing to explode.
Yeah, no.
I've been inside the SR-71. I've been up close and personal with it. A good friend of mine, like I said, when he was in San Antonio, Texas, he used to guard him. And like I said this before on the radio, there was a yellow and a red circle around him. No, and everybody used to think it had to do something with parking. No, the yellow circle was caution, and it was to let you know you were in a danger zone. If you crossed the red circle, it didn't matter. You could have been a freaking general. You were dead. If you did not present something to that guard, or actually those 4 guards, you were dead. Oh, yeah. Well, each plane had its own guards, and they were set in stacks of 4. Yeah, you were dead. Oh, no. They weren't going to ask you. They were going to shoot you. And they weren't going to shoot you to wound you. They were going to shoot you to kill you. That was their standing orders. Now, that's what it was. You could come in a yellow circle all you wanted. You were in a cautious circle. You could talk to if you needed to talk to. But if you tried to cross that red line, you better had some freaking paperwork in your hand. Something that could be authenticated. No, they didn't do radio authentication. They didn't trust it. Don't ask me. Today, they wouldn't do paper authentication because they wouldn't trust it. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, let me send the code on my cell phone. Hold on a minute. Shit, man. No, I don't trust them. I'm not really trusting anybody. And Israel, I don't hear anything about Israel. All I hear is, oh, Netanyahu's an asshole, and that's all I hear. He won't stop killing people. I don't hear anything else. I hear a little bit of Iran.
Killing people, though. Let's analyze that. When did Netanyahu start killing people?
I don't know, like 4 decades ago. I mean, it's been a long time.
When dropped into the 6-day war, right?
Yeah,
he was a paratrooper, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was actually. Netan's not scared of anything. He's insane. He's like a Jewish Donald Trump.
I know he's only reacted to being attacked.
Everything he's done is to protect his country and
reactionary, not precautionary.
He might have got a little crazy and overreacted, but I personally, and if I had to live with that in the middle of my country, I think I would evict it. Well, no, Christopher. Okay, the Native Americans don't go around blowing shit up. Okay. They live in this country with the rest of us peacefully. And let me tell you what, we better hope the Native Americans don't ever decide to start blowing shit up because there's way more of them than you think there is. And they're all over the country. God, I don't lost count of reservations and they're everywhere. And they don't tend to scare as easy as other people do. So, no, Native Americans don't go around killing Americans. They don't. That's not what they're doing. Gazans get in trouble. And it's not even the Gazans. It's people like Hezbollah and Hamas and things like that.
It's the radical groups.
Yeah, it's not actually the Gazans that caused the problem. It's just the people they let rule them. Well, it's hard to have a country inside of your country. I mean, it's just hard. I mean, do you realize you can't get into Gaza without crossing to Israel? You have to go in and out of Israel to get there. Yeah, I don't understand why it didn't get moved to like the edge of Israel. I never did understand that. Why don't you move it down to the coast or something? I don't know, but it's sooner or later it's got to be rectified. And if I was Israel, I'd say, okay, you can keep your territory and you can stay right where you are, but we are now your government. There is no more Gazan government. You're not having all these crazy radicals coming in your areas anymore. And if I found them, I would execute them. It'd just be that simple. Come on, people. They killed babies and teenagers at a concert. Who does that kind of shit? Cowards do that kind of shit. They didn't go attack a military target or a government target. They attacked children where they knew nobody was going to fight back. It did a goddamn thing they were in America because, especially in the South, we'd have shot their asses. They'd have come in with guns. They'd have been surprised. Everybody at the concert would have pulled out a 9 and said, "Oh, wait, you want to shoot? Let's have it out, baby."
Yeah, even if you have a weapon in Israel, I think you can only have like 100 rounds. So while they do have, I mean, they don't have great gun laws. So it's just
it's just anytime I see anybody who wants to kill a baby, come on. So you shoot the baby, then you burn the baby, and then you stomp on the baby's head.
It does. You can shoot off 100 rounds really quickly. I mean, a box of 50 goes really, really, really fast through an automatic handgun. But think about it. If you're at a concert, you're not going to carry 100 rounds. What are you going to carry? I used to carry a Beretta M9. It had a magazine in it. It had one bullet in the firing chamber and a 15-round clip, and then I had 2 other 15-round clips on the other side of the holster, which was under my jacket when I had a carry permit. So I carried 46 bullets, about half of 100, and I wouldn't need but one of them. But there's no way that you're gonna you can't be prepared enough for a huge situation like what's going on in Israel. My 46
especially when they have automatic rifles, right?
Right. If I was there when the fighting started in Israel with Hamas and Hezbollah just recently, my gun would be empty within the first probably 15 seconds, and then I'm out of ammunition, and I got to hide or run.
Now you see, I'd have shot somebody coming in and took that AK-47 and had a field day, buddy. I'd have been 2 up. You want to have fun? Come on. I look, and I have different training, so it's a little different for me. But it's I have a fundamental problem with anybody who would shoot a baby, then burn a baby, then stomp its head to the ground. That's just warped. You need to be exterminated.
I think, well, I don't know if exterminating is the right word. I think the area needs to be sanitized. And you said it before on the show, and I said it before on the show. You just use the right amount of appropriate nuclear devices to turn the entire area into a giant, slick glass plate for about 80,000 years. And at the end of those 80,000 years, when the radiation goes away, you build, you get, if it's Walt Disney still, you get Disney World to build a worldwide giant theme park that only people that don't have a criminal record can go to and have fun at.
Well, just remember, when it's glass, when it's that green glass, that produces an enormous amount of electricity. So you can just be using it for power. We've talked about, you melt the whole thing in one big green glass, you plug into, you got enough power to probably run the planet for a while. No, Peter, but the Middle East has been a problem for a long time. Not in it was a problem before America was even a country.
There's been armed conflict in the region since before history has been written.
I mean, look at Baghdad, how much shit Baghdad has caused over the years. Look, what you ever heard of the Spartans? Who invaded Sparta? Come on, people. Where'd they come from?
Persians. No.
That's right. Where did the Persians come from?
Persians are the Iranians and the Iraqis.
Oh, man. Yeah. So they have just been a problem for a long, and I don't know why. They're just very aggressive. I guess it's religion.
I don't know. Is it the religion? Because the religion there's been so many different religions there. Is it the religion, or is there something there?
Well,
is there some godly artifact? Is there some technology that God left behind that they're all trying to find? But there's something there that all of these 3 different places want, and they all have the same Bible. They're the same exact, very similar stories. The Judeo-Christian Bible. There's 3 different types. There's the Koran, the Torah, and the Bible, but they all have the same stories in it.
But I get mad when I always say they got the same God because they got the same God. But actually, I tell the Jews, you'll get the old God and they got the young God. That's the only difference.
But almost all the stories are virtually identical. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Well, it's funny.
That's stupid.
It's funny because last night
book in different translations. That's what they're doing.
So last night I asked Alexa. I said, "Where does Zeus live?" And of course, it says Olympia. I said, "So I said, well, where does Jupiter live? Because Jupiter's the Roman version of him, right? Well, Olympus. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. How can they both live on Olympus? They're different gods. So I said, Alexa, are they the same God? She said, well, basically, they are the same God. So Alexa's just rewriting history for itself now, or I should say lore for itself, because technically they're not supposed to be the same gods. They're supposed to be different gods. Even though when you look at the comparisons, they really are.
No question. Yeah, I mean,
the Romans just stole them from the Greeks because the Greeks collapsed. Well, Greeks ruled for a long time. The Romans ruled for a longer time. Maybe the Americans will rule for even a longer time, but we're just getting started. So Rome was around a long time. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not moving to Rome, people. No. Last time I was in the Vatican, they kicked me out. They said you can't look at UFO secrets while you're here. It's against the rules. What is this one? Well, look at this missile thing they're shooting out. Oh, that's just a cruise missile. Never mind. When I first looked at it, looked at something different. It's in some kind of hidden tube looking thing. And I was like, what the hell? Would you send me, Kirby? Let me see. 1,000-year-old cemetery with dead, weary, dramatic rings of their. Oh, wait, what? Oh, let me look at this. Maybe I can see this. Hold on now. Oh, okay. So this person's got rings like from their chest to their mouth. It's. I guess it was like that when they were alive. And they have buckets on their feet. Okay, this is just weird. And where'd they find this at? Okay, y'all don't send me stuff like this because this is interesting, but I'd be looking all night just to see where it came from and shit. What is this? Oh, Biden's wanting to change the way we give money to the Ukraine. Yeah, because the Republicans won't give you no money. That's why. They don't want to hear you bullshit. None of these boner deals.
He's losing money in his son's businesses over there, so he needs to help his buddy Zelensky.
Well, see, that's the problem. So he's got $110 billion package that includes funds for the Ukraine. So first off, I wonder how many funds the Ukraine is getting and where's the rest of the money going. You know what? There should be a civilian watchdog group that gets to see where everything goes. We really need to stop the bullshit and put some people up there that are unapproachable. Say, hey, look, it's time for this shit to stop. We need to know where everything's going. They'll probably end up getting killed, but you can always try.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, you can hide. It's so easy to hide where things go. Like I gave this guy a loan. This guy pays off this guy. And then you can have like a snakes and ladders of different financial transactions that you can pretty much hide anything you want.
But even worse than that, there's like the specialized toilet seats that's $325 per seat, or the hammer, specialized hammer for these aerospace projects is like $500 for each hammer, and they buy 20 of them. No hammer costs $500 some odd dollars. I don't care how specialized it is.
So NATO's saying it's just a matter of time before we go to war with Russia.
Yeah,
they're saying, and then Admiral Barber said that everybody should beware.
What are the odds makers in Vegas saying about
it? Who said conscription? Who said the thing about conscription?
So they start off with top military officers warn people are going to be conscripted into the armed forces, and then it says Admiral Rob Bauer, chairman of NATO's military committee, delivered chilling message to the civilians. They must be braced and be ready for war with Russia.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck getting people to comply with that.
He's saying they're going to invoke the draft as well.
They're going to have to. Like they're having trouble recruiting, and it's mainly the population that is honorably served for the last 100.
Yeah, the problem is the military went woke and everybody left. So Trump 100%. Changed all them rules and everybody was coming back and people were taking over and then Biden came in and changed it all back and put woke people in charge, and they started getting rid of people. So a lot of our good people, a lot of people who you would want in there if we got in the war, are not in there right now. So if we go to war
with one specific demographic that accounts for almost the entirety of the recruiting shortfall. Guess which group that is?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, you can't say. You can't say.
I'm not saying.
It's pretty obvious. They're about 60% of the population. Anyway.
Moving on. Saying I might get in trouble. What are you talking about, Christopher? What do you mean? There's gay people in the military. When I was in the military, it was illegal to be gay in the military. Oh yeah, they found out this poor guy was gay. They beat the living shit out of him. Oh no, I'm not kidding you. You had your little bag. You had to put 2 bars of soap in, and everybody got 3 shots. Oh no, everybody did. Even if you didn't want to. I was on roving patrol that night, and they came and got me. off of roving patrol to make sure I was involved, so no one could rat anybody out. Oh yeah, and he the next day he went to the infirmary. He wouldn't rat anybody out, but our commander figured it out on his own and threw him out. We were the 5th branch he had been thrown out of for being gay. Yeah, the one before us was Coast Guard. He had already been in the Army, in the Air Force. And then he was in the National Guard, and then he was in the Coast Guard. It was illegal.
You have to be gay to be in the Coast Guard in the first place?
I don't know, but it was definitely illegal back then. Was it right or wrong? What they did, the guy was wrong. Yeah. Was it right or wrong? And, you know, I can't say because I'm not against women in the military. I've just got issues with women in ground combat. Not that I don't think a bitch can't kill somebody. Oh, yeah, I ain't got no problem with that. I think bitch will light your ass up. It's a distraction for a man, but it's even worse than that. So I could not see some 110-pound woman or 125 pound toting any of us out of the woods. It's just not going to happen. She is physically not going to have the body strength to carry us out of combat, out of danger. Whereas I grab bitch, throw over one shoulder and still be shooting at people. And it is 5 times more likely that a guy will jump in front of a bullet for a woman than for a man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a distraction, and the military says it is. So, but I mean, as far as pilots, women actually make better pilots than men. They're more detailed and oriented. Not so much fighter pilots, but all the rest of the pilots. But and eventually they'll make better fighter pilots too. There's lots of places they can contribute. Just field combat. Oh, what do you mean spies? There's lots of women spies. Don't even think there's not those.
Harry.
Don't even think there's not those. And look. Well, no, they can be drafted now. Women are part of the draft now. So, yeah.
No, they don't have to do selective service, though, do they? I don't think they have to do selective.
No, they got to sign up. They're part of the draft.
Oh, they
now,
do?
Officially, yeah.
Really?
Officially
Since
now.
when?
About a year ago, they said nope, no more.
Oh, that's great.
You've got to be. You're part of the draft now.
Yeah, everybody's equal. Everybody's equal.
Everybody. That's the problem. Everybody. You either equal or you're not. You know, you want all the rights.
Yeah, but you know, give it another decade. I'll bet you that changes to everyone does 2 years. Eventually,
well, see, I used to say this all the time. I've always said the same thing. In order to be an American citizen and have American benefits, you should be required to do 2 years minimum military service. Now, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. And you can still be an American, but you shouldn't be, there should be lots of benefits like loans and grants and other stuff, certain things that you can only get if you're a citizen. You should be not eligible for if you don't serve. Because I got to be honest with you, it doesn't hurt anybody to serve. Serving, to be frankly, it helped out a lot of people I know. They didn't stay in for life. They did 4 years and they went home. And,
but no, they're not required to be registered.
Yeah. Because it said last time I heard them on the news, they were talking about. They said they were going to be part of selective service. They had to register.
Right now it says selective service law as it's written now refers specifically to male persons. Instead, that's easy to get around. All you got to do is identify as non-binary. Done. Don't have to sign up for it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my service. That's my service announcement for that 60% that doesn't want to sign up anymore.
What do you mean when you ask? Look, there's a big chunk of the country who. So let me ask y'all: where do y'all think most of the military comes from in the United States? What do you think it's like certain states, or do you think it's like certain areas of the country? Because it is certain areas of the country. I can tell you that.
Well, Joe, you have to say per capita too, because there's certain states.
Oh yeah, there are certain states
that just because of population, but per capita is the key.
So if you're in California, if you live in Northern California, a good percentage of your citizens are serving in the military, but not in Southern California where everybody lives. Yeah, they don't have hardly any service down there. Well, we're not going to get into why, because I don't want to get into an argument with anybody. The South itself as a whole, a good chunk of the South serves.
Yeah, and I think you have way more Navy activity down there than
and the heartland serves any countries, any states where people grew up in certain types of lives that are going to serve. Actually, New York used to have a big attendance until the last, I think, 20 years or so, and it's dropped off considerably. I have no idea why it's dropped off, but it used to actually. I was honestly surprised last time I looked. It's been a while since I looked at the numbers. I think the last time they really updated them was probably the 90s census, but I was surprised. I mean, because I was surprised that Trump almost pulled 46% of freaking New York in the last election and still lost. I said, so because I remember my friend calling, he said, Joe, He got the largest black and Hispanic vote in the history of the Republicans, the largest amount of people ever, largest amount of women, broke all kind of records all over the place and still lost. I said, I know life is a bitch. And, but yeah,
Also, life's not fair.
Yeah, life isn't fair. Yeah. A lot of times. See, everybody, I got a lot of people. Well, a lot of people got mad at me because I didn't get all mad about it. I said, well, look, I said, I would have got mad at it if I thought that we didn't know about it. I said, but let's get honest. I said, for a full year, Trump said, cheat, 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 cheat. So if I was running for president and I really thought there was somebody going to cheat, I would have had made sure one of my people were in every polling station in this country. And when they said, oh, there's a pipe leak in this building, we got to leave, I said, okay, well, I need to be with 2 other people and we need to take these with us and they need to come with us now. We're not leaving them here. And instead they left them there. And one lady said there was 2 boxes when they left. When it came back the next morning, it was 10. And somebody tried to tell us late. She said, well, nobody's seen them come in. We don't know where they came from. No district was claiming them, but yet they got counted. Oh, it was enough to flip that state for him. You got to remember, in a lot of the states, Biden didn't win by big numbers. He squeaked in. There was a lot of squeaky states. That was just 5,000 here. It just well, look at Chicago. Every year it gets 5,000 to 7,000 dead people vote. They climb up out of their graves and fucking Democrats and come vote every time.
It's the right that never dies.
That's right. They just climb out of there and chick and do their thing and go. I've heard many pollsters saying, I've seen a skeleton walking from the booth. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it smell bad. Like when they smell really bad,
Yes. Well, that's most Democrats anyway. But anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If anybody's doing. No, I'm not a Republican. I'm actually a legit centralist. I really am. There are some things that Democrats do. Well, lately, not so much, but usually there's some things y'all do that I like, just like the Republicans. There's a lot of stuff both of y'all, I think, are complete utter morons about, but some of the things in this country is just stupidity. Cindy, as soon as we get a full-time female on here, excuse me, we're going to do a show on abortion. No, we got to have balance. I'm not doing a show on abortion with 3 or 4 guys. What do you think? We're crazy? We'd get more phone calls and emails and shit. We'd be going through them for 3 weeks, man. No, it's not going to happen. Everybody knows my views on abortion. All you got to do is listen to any of my shows. It's not really hard to find out. No, I'm not real secretive about it or anything. No, go listen for yourself. Well, that's not true. When I was young and I was Catholic before my dad died, no, I was probably anti-abortion as much as you could get. Shit, I used to teach Wednesday school people. And then after my dad died, I got really pissed off and stayed that way for 2 decades or so. And I wasn't a big fan of God. Let's just say that. And that's just one of those things. Religion, I've always said the same thing about religion. Religion is the rich man's way of controlling the poor man. That's all it is. It's just one of those things. Look, and I say this, and I'm going to say this again so we don't get in an argument. You don't have to be religious to believe in God. You can be, you know what spirituality is? You can be spiritual. Religion is just a belief through a church that someone somewhere wrote down and said, you have to abide by these rules. Spirituality is your rules. You're contacting whoever this deity it is, Jesus, God, or whoever you may think it is, through yourself. So it's a more personal experience. Yeah, you're missing out when you're going to church because you're not getting that personal experience. You're getting a group experience. Oh, yeah, people lay hands and people start speaking in tongue. Yeah, I've been there for that shit. No, don't go there with me. You're not going to like my answers on that. You're just not going to like it. Well, you ever notice a lot of times the people who go get crazy in the churches are usually the ones that are kind of dramatic anyway. It's just an observation. I don't want to get in trouble here. Sean's going to get me in trouble. That's it, man.
Suggestion.
It's a suggestion.
Very suggestible.
Well, there's that church in Georgia where they dance with snakes.
Yeah. You know what? I met him, the old guy, because the young guy got killed. The snake bit him in. He was all doing a snake thing. And he was setting it down. Damn thing bit him in the side. Killed his. Usually the old man was telling me what they usually do is they just tap themselves with it to get the poison a little bit at a time, and they build up an immunity to it. I guess the same thing your dog would do, because I've had a couple of dogs.
They also probably milk the snakes before they dance with them, but
yeah, and they might do that as well.
Anyway, I mean, that's some extreme. I mean, that's like several. I don't know which branch of the faith it is, but some several
Is
churches
it Pentecostal?
at least in Georgia.
I think it is Pentecostal.
I'm not really sure. It might be, but
I don't want to misrepresent. I'm just
they're in Georgia. A lot of them, and they dance with rattlesnakes. I mean, it's just crazy nuts.
Shannon, what are you saying you're going to Canada for? Oh, you're already jumping. You ain't even got drafted yet and you jumping. Oh my God.
Nobody's even won the election yet.
Oh my God. You scared to go. You got to go to the Ukraine. First off, they're not going to take you little softy marshmallow girls and just drop you into
I think if they try to impose a draft, I think they're going to have bigger problems in the Ukraine.
Yeah, see, right now, if you ask the country to serve and you get rid of some of the bullshit, most of the people will come serve on their own. Now, if it starts getting nasty in the country, yeah, they'll enforce the draft and they'll physically enforce the draft. But America hasn't physically enforced the draft since World War I. World War II, they had the draft and you could get treated for treason, but it just wasn't a big problem. Right now, right this moment, if Biden was to say, let me ask y'all, how many of y'all want to fight and die for Joe Biden? It ain't about America right now for me. It's about Joe Biden. And I ain't fighting and dying for that SOB. It's just not going to happen. I believe in love. I believe in love my country, and I'll die for my country, but not for Joe Biden. It ain't happening.
I wouldn't either.
And that's the difference.
It is,
and that's the difference. You have a lot of patriots who love their country, but they see after the last 2 decades of war, and then just the complete and utter abandonment of Afghanistan without any.
Oh, that was such a piss poor joke.
It was a slap in the face. And then after that, veterans were treated with suspicion, and you have treated like the enemy, basically.
Yeah, basically.
So you have a demographic that represents 60% of the country, and also represented 85% of the casualties, was told that you have privilege. You need to sit down and shut up and make way. And at that point, people are like, you know what, these elites are not worth it. You fight your own war, send your own sons over there.
And that's another thing, because I think this time around, I did see that in Nam. A lot of people started cracking down on where's the rich people's kids at. And you started seeing more and more of them go, but they got bullshit duty. They didn't get,
they
didn't get
right?
field
He goes
duty,
to Iraq, but he's a lawyer, right? He's like in JAG.
Yeah, they weren't, because the average expectancies for someone in Nam for the first time on the front line was 5 seconds. So, I mean, if you didn't have somebody there taking care of you, you were going to die. And I had several friends. I wasn't old enough to go, but a friend of mine who was actually in Laos, which they weren't supposed to be. A-team is what he was, and special A-team. A-team you weren't supposed to know existed. Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to know existed. Him and his boy, there was 7. I'm sorry. They used to go in Laos all the time, go in behind lines, wait till everybody went to sleep, and just wipe out a whole platoon, and then come home. Oh no, these were stone cold killers. I wouldn't have pissed these boys off for nothing. And all of a sudden, David, for some reason, I just reminded him of somebody he mentored while he was there. So he just took up for me for nothing. He's like, no. He said, oh, you would have never got killed. I'd have made sure of it. He said, but these newbies would come in. We wouldn't even talk to them, Joe. He said, we'd be like, and everybody was like, why won't you talk to us? And one guy would say, because you're going to be dead tomorrow. There ain't no reason to get to know you. And it happened a lot. And I mean, Vietnam was a war for America just to get rid of some overpopulated youth we had. Some of the people who hadn't gone to college, some of the colleges were overcrowded. Because there was a lot of college people actually went to Vietnam.
Yeah, I was going to give you guys a stat. In World War II, they did still use the draft. They didn't draft as many because of the nature of how we got into the war. More volunteers were volunteering than were needed to draft, but they still did both. But the average person who was joining the Army and the Navy in World War II, 21 years old. In Vietnam, when they did the draft again, and it was the average age of soldier they were drafting in was 19.
So
19 years old.
The proudest I've been in my country in a long time was Desert Storm, because it was an all military force. I mean, it was all voluntary force. I mean, every person you've seen out there fighting and dying did it for one reason, because they loved their country, not because they were told they had to do it, not because this asshole did this or that asshole did this, because simply they believed and loved our country. Today, if you went and asked the Z-Gen, are you going to go fight and die for me? They're going to be like, what are you, stupid? No. Of course, they don't realize if they don't, they're going to die, that'll come to them later on, but still.
Look, I'd be willing to fight for Biden if he defended the border, right? I mean, like, he doesn't even defend our own border, right? Why are we going to go 6,000 miles away and fight somebody else? Doesn't make any sense.
He went to the Supreme, by the way, I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to bring this early. So he went to the Supreme Court, overruled Governor Abbott, and said that they told him, Governor Abbott, you're not in charge of the border. Joe Biden is. Abbott said, how can I say this politely, F off, and told the Border Patrol, do not cross the Texas Rangers. Said, I'm telling you, you do not want to get in a fight with the Texas Rangers. It's not going to come out well for y'all. And he said, and he's asking every state, every city along the border now to roll out razor wire on their borders. He said, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of my citizens being attacked and mutilated and raped and pillaged. And he said, I'm just tired of it. He said, it shouldn't be like this. And this has been how long and how long and how long? He said, the only president in my lifetime that even tried to stop this was Trump, and y'all trying to put him in jail. He said, so no, I've had enough of this, and this is how this is going to be. Now, the bitch part is about going up against the Supreme Court. You can find yourself in jail.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, but I'd like to see... He's playing with fire right now, because it's not like the Supreme Court is partisan, or at least leans heavily to the left, right?
Yeah,
they lean more to the right.
And that's the thing. When they voted left, he should have known he was out of his league. Of course, I would like to see any DHH go try to arrest him in Texas. It would be.
Well, I hope they don't try to cause a.
Well, that's what they were saying.
Sumter like moment, right? Like that's actually really scary, you know?
Yeah, because they were talking about this. A bunch of the locals in Arkansas and in Oklahoma were talking about this today. Because they're sending troops to I think it's I forgot how many states it was, but there's a few states.
There's a lot. I mean, there's more than there are not. Let's just say.
Yeah, and
most states have a Republican governor, so it's. I think there's
it was like 31 last time. I don't know how many going actually right now. And usually the Republicans keep more governors. Somebody said that should be your electoral college should be your governors. I said, well, no, Democrats would never win because they rarely ever have more than 25. It's just at this point, trying to arrest this guy would start a civil war. I don't know. I'm just not sure that how much of the country is going to say we're all right with this. I mean, it's not something I want to get involved in, but if you start dragging a Texas governor out, I mean, this guy's in a wheelchair to start off with.
Well, and it doesn't make sense either. Like, why are you defending? Like, look, I agree that the United States federal government has priority here, but they're doing something. They're doing something that doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not defending your own border. And this guy's just doing what he needs to do to help his state survive. So I don't even know where you would stand in this
he's
situation.
Trying to say it all started over that they let 3 people drown in the Rio Grande the other day. And the Rangers said no, they had already drowned. There was nothing anybody could do for them. So Joe's trying to use it as a point, and the Rangers. And bottom line is, if I had to choose between Homeland Security and the Texas Rangers, I'm siding with the Rangers, man. Them bitches are scary. The only people might be, you might have to get special, and probably half of them are special forces. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be messing with them. DHH was supposed to be like that. They were supposed to have a bunch of special forces in it, but they couldn't get them. They just couldn't get them to come work for the Department of Homeland Security. I don't know why, but they've had a hard time recruiting. So there's the FBI lately. They've had a hard time recruiting.
Well, their brand isn't exactly in the ascent.
Yeah,
I mean, they're targeting septuagenarians in Utah, walking with a cane with a SWAT team. I mean, come on.
And they
couldn't arrest that guy at a Safeway parking lot.
I know, and they still. Well, when you start looking at the FBI in the last 50 years, they've made some big blunders. There was Ruby Ridge. So they go in, they kill this guy's wife, his dog, his kid, all because they thought he had made a shotgun for somebody that was an 1/8 inch below regulation,
which they entrapped him to do.
Yes,
right.
And the bitch part was
him until he did it. He's like, "Fine, I'll do it."
And then the bitch part was when it went to trial and they measured the gun, it was an 1/8 inch over, not under. And he said, I told him in the beginning I could not do it. It was going to be an 1/8 inch over. And that's how he made the gun. And of course, the judge I can just imagine his judge's face going, really? You killed his family for a gun that's legal? So, I mean, he got all kind of stuff out of that, but it's still only going to bring back his dog and his kid and his wife. I mean, they shot his in the back. I mean, what? That whole thing was, And then, of course, there's Waco, which nobody really knows what the hell went down in Waco because everything burned up. All you had was the witnesses, and they said an entirely different story than what the FBI was saying. I was like, and then they missed the Oklahoma bomber, and he blew up half a building.
Well, but he's the reason why they did. I mean, he's the reason. Like, they're the reason he did it.
I know.
I mean,
he just, I was just like, damn. And of course,
which is awful. Like, he committed a horrific act of terrorism.
Yes, and he should have. I don't think even if he didn't know those kids were in the building, I don't think he would have changed his mind. But what did I do? I think he'd still went along with his plans because Timothy was pretty much whacked. But
he took the whole facade off the building, 2 levels worth.
No, yeah, it was. He did. It was killed a lot of people. Made a big point. Also showed America's vulnerable in some areas, but
yeah,
you when you keep pissing people off, sooner or later somebody's going to do something. And it's a thing in our country. You keep stomping on somebody, stomping on them. Sooner or later they get up and kick back.
They're going to fight back. Yeah.
And right now, when you look around at our country and go, okay, do you want me to go to Russia and kill Russians, which I don't have no problem with Russians personally. I'm actually friends with some. Or you want me to go to China and kill Chinese people? No, I like China's culture. I don't want to go blowing up their culture. Do you realize what America would do to China's culture in less than 6 months? Look at Iraq. China couldn't stop us like that. And when it came to an all-out air war, China has a prayer. They can match us in air power, ship for ship, but our planes are so much better. It's not even funny. Plus, we got all of Europe and NATO's jets as well. That's overwhelming. That's like 15-1. There's nothing you can do for that. You're dead. We'd have air superiority in no time at all, and we'd just be bombing and shitting back into the Stone Age again. And China's even bigger trouble because as everybody's cutting them off, they're going backwards. See, that's what everybody forgets. China only got to where it was because America and England decided to give Hong Kong back, which gave them all kind of extra money. And then Europe just started buying everything from them, and we started buying everything from them, and they became a rich, powerful nation. And then Trump came in and said, Germany, why are you buying gasoline from Russia? What's wrong with you? And he looked at America and said, why are you buying shit from China? They tried to kill your dogs. They tried to kill your babies, and you're still buying stuff from them. And now they gave you COVID. So then America pretty much don't buy shit from China anymore. And a lot of people now, even my friends I noticed, they'll look to see where it's being made before they purchase it now. So China's dealing with that. And then Europe's cut them down way, way, way back. So they don't have that extra money, and their economy's shrinking, and Xi Jinping's in trouble. And he's trying to force it over to Taiwan to get his ass out of trouble. But he knows damn good and well if he attacks Taiwan, we're going to attack him.
Bye-bye.
But I will tell you this. We will not attack China's mainland in the beginning. We will go over there and blow the living shit out of the Taiwan.
Yeah, we won't need to.
Now
we would take out the missile batteries on the coast.
Oh yeah. Sure. Now if there was anything that could reach them, we would take out. Yeah. But their navy would be sunk that afternoon. We would just sink it, and we wouldn't sink it with our navy. We'd just sink the bitch.
I think we'd use cruise missiles and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you'd probably have 2 submarines come up with probably 5 kiloton nukes on each one, tactical nukes, and all of a sudden there would be a bright light reported. Taiwan would report seeing a bright line, and there would be no more Russian fleet. I mean, no more Chinese fleet. And China doesn't have a big enough. I mean, their fleet's as big as ours, but it's not designed like ours. So
it's bigger. It's bigger, but it's not the same quality. It's not remote.
Yeah. Well, last time I checked, they were only that was like a year ago. They were only 20 ships bigger than us. I think we were like a 360 and they were 380. But last I heard, they had already made another 50 or 70 ships. But the problem is the quality. You can look at their carrier and go, what are you going to do with that thing? The Nimitz could take that carrier. They don't even have to have one of these big fancy carriers to take it out.
Yeah, I think their carrier has a wooden deck.
Yeah, and Donnie, it is true that in 2 locations, Chinese have stuff set up that looks like our carriers to work programs on it, and they've got a special team of ships and people that can rush a carrier and attach things to it to sink it. So that's why you notice on the Gerald Ford now they've got these. I don't know if it's water or fire. They got these jets things that comes blasting out the side of the ship. Nope, that Chinese plane just got shot to shit and back. Plus, you got to get, they do these kind of plans and they talk about this on TV, but did you forget there's a battle group with them? I mean, there's submarines with them. There's actually destroyers and battleships and cruisers. And generally they're just not going to let you come drop it up in the fleet. They're going to sink your ass.
Yeah, it's called a flotilla. And what's in the carrier group? Minimum 25 to 30 ships.
Well, so if they're on patrol, it's usually about 7 ships these days, 7 to 9 ships. And if they're on patrol now, if they're in like a battle group, there'll be 25 to 30 ships with them. There'll be over 100 with 4 carriers floating around. And they spread them out a lot more than they used to now because the submarines are more accurate now. So, but still, I mean, the Nimitz unofficial speed, I think, was 60 knots. I remember the ship doing easy 90, 95 knots. 95 knots, people, is about 125 miles an hour, I think. I think a knot's a mile and a half, if I remember right. It's been a while since I converted it. It might be a
Google,
little less.
In miles per hour, how fast is 1 knot?
That's a good one.
1 knot is equivalent to 1.151 miles per hour.
So 1.151.
1.151. Yeah. One. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you're building up, it gets a little bit more. Yeah. So 90. So 90. So yeah, 90 knots is probably a little over 100 miles an hour, about 102 or something.
Yeah, 36 knots is something like 55 miles an hour, roughly.
Jimmy, so knots, because in the old days they used to take a big rope and tie knots in, and I forgot how far apart, and they would drop it back in the west side. They told how fast they were going.
They would count the knots, how fast they were going. We're going 36 knots.
Yes, sir. There we go. Oh, damn! I know we can go that fast. Oh no! Let me tell you what. We was on battle patrol. We was getting ready to go to the bombing derby, and we got a battle patrol warning. All the alarms went off. We're all over. Everybody's got places to have to be. All of a sudden, you hear the ship go woo, 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 and it just, man, you could hear she was kicking water out the back. It was like being on a little mini jet ski at first. I mean, this bitch was kicking water off the props like it was nothing. The ship kind of bogged down a little bit, and then we just darted. It was like when you punch your car and it kind of bogs for a second and it jumps and takes off. The ship did the exact same thing. And we're cruising, and I'm realizing I'm starting to lean backwards. I'm like, how fucking fast are we going? Because I've been on the Nimitz in the battle, which is around 50 knots, and I'm not leaning back. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? And there was so much force coming. It wasn't even the wind that was doing it. It was just the way the ship was going. I was like, how fast? And my commander comes by. He said, we're probably doing 90, 95 knots right now. He said, and hang on, because we're fixing to make a turn and everybody's going up. I'm like, what? So all of a sudden you feel the ship just lurch, man. Water just actually shoots up on the deck. I'm like, what the bleep? And I hear launch command. All of a sudden I got planes just popping up on the deck from 3 different elevators. As soon as we're straight, it's we're launching shit, man. Everything we had was in the air in less than 25 minutes. I mean, everything. It was even shit that the eye in the skies, the whole 9 yards was up there. It was amazing. And we got in trouble. We had to get it down to 15 minutes for everything. We did it, but man, you just not think a ship that big could move like that. I mean, it's a big, basically likely a freaking brick, man. To feel it turn like that, I was like, no way. Because I mean, this ship
they've been described as floating bricks by many sailors. Yes.
And what's funny is the battle fleet has to keep up, and they're turning with you. So when you're looking because when you're looking at the turn, because you're looking like up and over the deck, you can see these ships just turn. It kind of looks like their rails are edging the water as they're going by, trying to keep up with the damn carrier.
Yeah, they're going, holy crap, they're going that way. Turn.
And I'm sure the commanders on there going bleep, 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 bleep. But it was interesting. Oh, I can tell y'all, people, it was an interesting thing. Oh no, if I'd have said what I just said 10 years ago, I'd be in jail right now.
You'd be in jail.
But the Nimitz is being decommissioned, so we're not in any trouble. Yeah, she's being decommissioned. The Enterprise has already been decommissioned.
Is it going to be a museum piece somewhere? Or are they going to?
No, I think they've been talking about how to remove the reactors, because the Enterprise is actually in scrap now, and then the Nimitz is going as well. I don't know why, because the Enterprise and Nimitz should have been made into museums. I'm not sure why they didn't make them into museums. I mean,
the Enterprise was a museum.
It was.
It had Star Trek theme to it.
Yeah, no, it's. What do you? Oh, have any of y'all ever been? Because somebody sent me this earlier, and when you said that, it reminded me. Have any of y'all ever been to Disney's Star Trek Adventure, where you get in a spaceship and they blast you off into space, and you go on an adventure, and you get in costume, and everybody on the ship, everybody at the hotels in costume.
I have videotape of me and my parents doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have. I had a couple of friends ask me if I wanted to go, but it was because I said, "Isn't it closed now?" Well, I thought they closed it now. Changed it or something.
Oh, it's been closed. This was back in the 90s.
Yeah, well, they had it open before then because we looked at it. It was about 5 years ago, I think. Somebody had asked us to take a look at it. It looked like it'd be fun. I mean, your rooms were the way your rooms were done, and you had the windows that looked outside and space and shit. It was, it was kind of cool. It was a different kind of hotel, I can tell you that. And I just liked how they just.
What I did was in Disney at it's either Disney World or at Universal, and it was the movie generation. So it was those uniforms. It wasn't the original green and red and blue shirts. It was you either had a maroon jacket or whatever with a different colored collar for your department, scientists and whatnot. It was kind of fun. I wonder where that video is.
I mean, I know a couple people I know that actually went, enjoyed it. It's but you don't really what's this? Who sent me this? Booking.com Star Trek US Enterprise at Itty Bitty Inn. What? I don't even know if I want to look at that. I'm not even sure I want to look at that. We'll leave that for another night, Itty Bitty Inn. People do send me weird shit. What is with y'all? No, I got some articles right here we're going to go over in a second. Yeah, because we're running short on time. But who? I like I said earlier, I'm old now anyway. They're not going to ask me. I'd be in command rank anyway, so I'd just be one of the old guys they bitch about behind lines while all you young bastards are getting killed. I'd be like, you take that squad over there. Oh, there's Z-Gens. Oh, no, I got a different place. See this front line job over here? Put their asses up there for a couple of days, and whoever makes it out get promoted. That'll be how that works.
It's like the Spartan soldier in History of the War Part 1. You take the left flank. You take the right flank.
Actually, right now,
run with mucus.
if I could pick the generation I wanted fighting, it would be the younger version of the X-Geners because they're just bastards and bitches. They can't help themselves. The millennials, now that they're getting a little older, the mid versions of millennials would be good. The Zs are really the first true entitled generation of this country. I mean, the whole generation, not just the whites. It's everybody. It's the blacks, Hispanics, everybody's got one of these $1,000 things. They got $2,000 this, $1,000 shoes on.
Multiple cell phones.
And when I hear people say there's a race thing in the problem, there's no race wars in this country. It's class wars in this country. Mm-hmm. People down here, we don't give a shit what color you are. It's more about what kind of money you got because everybody's getting treated like that now. It's just different. Well, what do you mean?
Race is what the elite class uses to divide and conquer, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, see, okay, real fast, Jimmy. So down here, 20 years, 30 years ago, it was pretty racist. 50 years ago, you would not want to be any color but white if you lived down here. Now, the Yankees are far more racist than the Southerners. Oh, yeah. My son, who's in a mixed marriage, just came back from Michigan just recently. It was ridiculous. Everybody I know up there, a bunch of my friends who are lawyers and doctors in Chicago have moved back to New Orleans. They said because these are people in upper society. They said they're being treated like trash on the streets. Yeah. They said we're just coming home, Jerry. They've just gotten ridiculous. And he said it's the elite that's the ones becoming racist.
Too, though, if you look at it I've seen it from both spectrums, from being down in Georgia and being up here in Pennsylvania. If someone down in Georgia, down south in the deep south, if they don't like you because of your race or color, they're forthright about saying it. They don't have any problem saying it to your face. So it's not like they're discriminating against you because of your race. They're just letting you know how they feel about you because they can't legally do anything. But up here, it's all hidden. No, you never know who hates you because of the color of your skin or your religion. They hide it from you. They wait until you walk down the corner, and then they go, "Oh God, I can't believe that guy talked to me."
Well, it's a little different in the South than in most parts of the country, anyway, because the populations are much more mixed here. So New Orleans is 55% black, 46% white, and a little other mixed in there. So it's and if most of the offices you go to in New Orleans, as far as the city goes, are going to have black people working. It's just the city. Same thing if you go to Atlanta or if you go to a couple other cities in the South. That's just how it is. I mean, the state of Louisiana is almost 40% black. Georgia's almost 40%. Alabama's like 42%. So it's different for us. It's either get along or get in a race war. And so none of us want to die, and we all like to party. We've all learned how to get along now. So now we've all learned down here in the South in the heartland, it ain't about race. It's about class. And we're all figuring out is that, look, we can only get so far, and then we get cut off. It's just how it works. I mean, you can try to get as far as you want. I've been in pretty wealthy positions, but that's it. You're not getting any higher than that because if you don't have that thing or that connection that's in that next stage up, you're not getting there. They're not letting you in. You're locked out. You might get lucky. Well, no. Well, if you get into Hollywood or music or any of that shit, there's so much other stuff that goes on in there that nobody wants to talk about. I mean, look at it like this. We already know about Epstein and all that shit that was going on. Of course, there was Weiner and who was sleeping his way through every movie star there was. That there was a reason why it was called the casting couch, and he was probably one of the reasons why it was called that. Well, of course,
Weinstein.
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 Weinstein, but that's been going on since long time ago. I mean, look at how they treated Marilyn Monroe and Judy Garland. And
that's what I'm saying. And then, of course,
I mean, even the little girl, what's her name? The Shirley.
Was everybody's favorite commie, Fat Albert, who we found out who was a pervert, basically. Fat Albert. You don't know who Fat Albert was, Jimmy?
Hey.
He's Bill Cosby, guys. That's who he was. He's who he was. And he was drugging women. Look, first off, I give Bill a little less trouble than others because, one, these women were coming up to his hotel room at 8 p.m. at night. Okay, all right. Flag 1. You want me to go where? Your hotel room? Why can't we meet in the lobby? Flag 2. What time? Oh, no. You would like to have cocktails. Shouldn't we do that in the lobby? Yeah, no. So right off the bat, oh, you got a headache? Let me give you some Tylenol. Okay, women. And guys, for that matter, when you don't know someone and they offer you pills, you should say no. Yes. And you know what? And today we all have a pill identifier on our phone. Check them bitches out. You never know what's going to happen. Well, no, guys, you're just as vulnerable as women. Some bitch might want to roll you. I said, you got to watch this world. We don't live in the sweet, nice world. And even back then, they used to do that stuff. You can go all the way back to the First World War. They were doing that stuff. I bet you go back to Roman times, they were doing stuff like that. You
get someone intoxicated and rob them of their things and leave them in the streets naked so they can't chase you.
So there you go. And then I'm sure some Roman guard came along and hung your ass to a stake afterwards because you were naked in public. No, Billy, I mean, today's society has the Z Geners are just the first entitled generation. They grew up on computers, fully grew up on computers. The millennials were close, but they still had some backward shit going on. But these guys, they've grew up with the real cell phones. This is like, if we had flying cars and houses in cities, this would be the Jetsons age, buddy.
Yeah,
we already got the microwaves and all that other stuff. I mean, it's just so this generation, and if no big wars get started, they'll be living in a good, comfortable generation. At one time, I forgot what president it was. We were at the peacefulest time we'd ever been. It was just before Desert Storm started. There was no wars going on. It was just the most peaceful. And really right now, even with the Ukraine and Israel going on, we're still, compared to other parts of the world, we're still in a much more peaceful phase. There's not as near as many people dying as the media wants you to think there is. Any death is horrible.
And the underdogs are kicking ass. So I mean,
and that is the other thing.
Sit back and watch.
What do you mean? Who are back in Israel? See, Israel. Okay, first off, I already bitch about we shouldn't be in the Ukraine. Israel. To me, this is a holy war. We have no place involved in a holy war. This isn't. No, don't get me wrong. I think what Hezbollah and them did was horrible, and I think they should pay dearly for it. And I think the Israelis should be left to their own device to deal with their own people and their own problems in their own country. They don't need us for this. I mean, other than sending them some weapons, they don't need us.
Required.
Now, staying in the Mediterranean and the Persian Gulf and all, that's a good place for us. We need to be there because we can't trust the Iranians. But we don't want them jumping on Israel. But we don't need to be in the Israeli war for any reason. And Donald Trump's already said that if he wins, we don't need to be there. We can give them stock, say, hey, you need to buy something, we'll sell it to you, but that's all we need to be involved in, and maybe running surveillance. The Ukrainian, we have no business there. We have all of the EU. You know how many countries are in the EU? What is it, 29 now? It might even be more than that. It's they can deal with this. They have plenty of weapons they can sell to the Ukraine or give to the Ukraine. It's not something we need to do. Right now, the U.S. needs to concentrate on getting its ass back to the most powerful nation in the world. Keep working on our technologies. Figure out how I make our people healthy. Invent the damn cure of cancer or release it because it's probably been invented for 2 decades now. Johnny, there's lots of cures for cancer. Lots of cancers are curable now. Lots of them are. Mm-hmm. And almost all of them, if you're caught in stage 2, are. So Oh no, there's a lot. You hear all these great drugs, these ones that aren't chemo, like the ones we were talking about, like the one my nephew got in Germany, or the ones they've been talking about. Oh, it's like a paint that adheres itself to the cancer, and then the drug finds it and eats it all up. And there's another one that's some type of vibration that eats it up. It only eats the cancer. Yeah, these are things that'll save the world. Yeah, because it don't matter how far along you are cancer wise, it'll kill all of the cancer, all of the time. Yeah, these are things that are right there.
There was one really good video I saw of hash oil being used on a guy's nose. He had skin cancer where he had burnt like a hole through the side of his nose. I mean, you could see through into his nasal cavities and whatnot. It had burnt so much of the outer nose skin away. And he just started. I mean, I think you can probably still see this on YouTube. He just wiped this hash oil on this wound. I don't know how many times a day, but every day for so many weeks, and every day he showed a video, and the hash oil actually closed the nose skin and killed the cancer that was eating his nose away. It was an amazing video.
They need to find out what was in it. No,
it was hash oil.
No, but I mean, but hash oil can be a lot of things. You don't know how it's made. How much of the not GMO. What is it? The THC. That's not THC. That's not what I'm looking for. The other one,
cannabis,
cannabinoids.
Yeah, no, but there's a set of letters for it. It's the stuff they want you to. You can buy it like at all the convenience stores down here sell it, but it's not real. It's not cannabis. It's
CBD.
It's made from CBD.
CBD. That's what I said. Cannabinoids.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, yeah. It just went past me. It's I mean, stuff like this is just Well, no, Bobby. So I don't know about that, but they have said that people who smoke weed regularly have less chances of getting cancer. Don't ask me.
Sign me up.
Well, I don't understand it because you're still smoking. You're still getting smoke in your lungs, and the things that cause cancer from smoking cigarettes isn't the tobacco. It's the paper. It's the smoke itself. It's the I forgot what it's called, but it's a
but okay. So, like but also look at what's in look at a cigarette.
Carcinogenic.
Yeah, there you go. Carcinogenic.
If you look at a cigarette, the little gray lines going down the tobacco tube. There's little gray lines, little circular lines going down every cigarette paper, and that's a chemical known as saltpeter, which is mainly when you light a firework. The wick to a firework and it's all sparkly. That's saltpeter. That makes the sparkly thing. That is actually on the cigarette paper. That you don't find that in fresh flour unless you get a pre-roll. But if you get the fresh flour, you can smoke it through many various means, including water, metal pipes, and wooden pipes and whatnot. But
the Navy, the
every
Air
tobacco
Force
has added ingredients to it that make them way more carcinogenous.
Oh yeah. Well, the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, and the Marines all use saltpeter in food. Only in boot camp, though. Y'all, can you figure out why?
It's the saltpeter challenge. The saltpeter challenge, Joe.
That's what it is.
Is that true though?
Is that true? It is.
Yes,
well, I asked because
I hate sexual libido. Why do you think people smoke a cigarette after sex? So it reduces their drive to have more.
We were sitting there one day, and one of the guys asked the commander. He said, "I've been in boot camp for 8 weeks, and these girls rubbing their titties on the fence the other day, and I didn't get a what on." And he's like, "Really?" He said, "I hear they do this, that, and that." And he said, "Well, it's not classified." He said, "But yes," he said, "while you're in boot camp, it is added, and sometimes, come to find out, it may be added if you're a submariner." It just reduces your sex drive, people. That's all. Because guys are taking showers together. I mean, there's sometimes 40 guys in the shower together at the same time, and you can't have nobody
for 30 days. You
can't have nobody get in an accident. It could be trouble. I'm just this shit that gets talked about in this show. I swear. But it's true though. People see. I always thought it was BS because I had heard it before, but once they asked, I was like, really. And it's just not something they brag about. And it probably by now, I would hope.
Well, I mean, think about it. When you go to the doctor's office, no matter what doctor you go to, no matter what part of the country you go to any doctor's office, whether it's a doctor office who's got his offices like on the outskirts of the hospital, or he's got his own little private office, downtown, capital city, USA. You sit in that office and you smell a weird chemical in the air. I swear they put something in the air, some lithium. Who knows what it is? so that when you're sitting in that lobby, you're not inclined to fight and or yell, scream, or try to get angry about the bill.
Well, a lot of people are so tense because if they're getting bad news or something, it's no telling what they're doing. But
there's something there has to be.
I'm not near as trusting as I used to be about anything anymore. I've been doing the news and radio and TV for too long. There's too much stuff I've learned that's just because you know what, I got a bunch of hosts that do conspiracy stuff for me, and what happens is I'll ask them something. I said, look, I heard this. I said that, and there's 6 different hosts I use for this. 4 on my network, 2 on another network. They're all good friends of mine. So I'll ask them. So they'll all be sending me stuff. So I don't really worry about it until I see all 6 of them sending me the same shit. Then I'm like, uh-oh, there must be something to this. And then when I start looking into it, you find out that there's something to it. Because you'd be surprised how many things you thought were conspiracies turned out to not be conspiracies. It's kind of like the Russia hoax. Everybody said this was going on. We all said it was a conspiracy. They said no, it wasn't. And it turned out to be a conspiracy.
They're still saying it's real. Like they're still doubling down on it.
I know, and you got to wonder how they doing that because I mean it's been in trial now, and the special prosecutor's been putting all kind of people in shit for it. I don't know, but still, Hillary is not going to go to jail. No, Hillary's not. They're not going to ever put Hillary in jail. Nowadays, she's so old that they're not going to do it anyway. And if by some miracle any of these big politicians win, they would go where Edward Edwards went, to the special jail. Yeah, where you got where Martha Stewart went. Oh no, people, they do not go. No. They do not go to jail that you're going to go to. No. They go to the special jail. They have catered meals.
They go to a place that's called Club Fed. You get to play 18 golf and
they can have conjugal visits 2 times a week. Yeah, you go to prison and go to Angola and ask your boss, hey, man, I have 2 conjugal. You know what he's going to tell you? Get out there and pull some shit out of the ground.
It's like Disney World for criminals. It's fireworks every Wednesday night, cheeseburger grill out on Friday night, pizza on Tuesday. It's disgusting.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, Edward's wife, who was I think was like 40 years younger than him, used to come visit him 4 times a month, 5 times a month. She'd bring him food, bring him whatever. It was just, no, it's not the kind of jails, no, because you're special and you got caught and they have to put you in jail, but they can't put you in a regular jail. No. So you think of it this way, people, if they would take one of these people and put them in a regular jail, you could bet your ass 90% of Congress would never do it again. But knowing that they're going to go to Club Fed, what the hell do they care? They're still going to get to keep the money. And they're going to come out and be retired on your ticket, no less. I don't. Sometimes it just irritates. It's hard.
And for some of these political criminals, they can go and do their time and come back, and then you stupid people in the public reelect them to that same office that they did the bad stuff in. And then the best example is Mayor Marion Barry. The man went to jail for snorting cocaine and buying a prostitute while he was in the office. I mean, he wasn't in his office. He was like on the job. He was mayor of DC and arrested in a hotel room with a prostitute in his boxer shorts. They arrested him in his box. They walked him out of the hotel in his boxer shorts when they arrested this man. And then he gets out of jail and gets voted right back into the same position. I was astounded when that happened.
The Gerald Ford's already home? Get the hell out of here. Wasn't even over there that long. I hate this guy. We need somebody we need somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. For somebody blows up our country because we're too stupid to find somebody that knows what to do.
Gerald Ford came back from the Middle East?
Yeah, it's already back. It's home, yeah. I'm trying to see if I can find it. I was going to show some pictures of it, but I don't know if it's going to let me pull it up or not.
They got tired of people shooting at it or what?
From what I heard, it was kicking ass. From what I heard, it was kicking ass all over the place.
They were still shooting at us.
Oh yeah, they were shooting at us. We were just tearing their asses up, is what we were doing. And I mean, it shot down. I forgot how many ungodly amount of drones they said it shot down. It was shooting down drones all over the place. Let me see. Maybe if I transfer it over here, it's I mean, I hope we left the carrier group or we replaced. I hope we're not just leaving the Red Sea just open. It's open for business now, pirates. I mean, come on in, baby. There's a tanker.
Don't we normally have at least one carrier in that general vicinity anyway?
We usually do. Well, we had 2 of them over there, so I don't know if they both came back.
Big area. I mean, one carrier really can't patrol the Mediterranean by itself. I bet you there's 2 or 3 of them.
That's why there's a jet with them. But I don't even know where the rest of the carrier groups are. I haven't even heard anything about them lately.
Well, there's probably one in Italy. There's probably one, Barcelona, bottom side of Spain.
They
I bet you we got France. I bet you we got a few. Well, there's only 20 total, right? And I think isn't it like a third, Joe? Where they have like maintenance, and then there's like training, and then there's
we've got. I don't think we have more than maybe 10 deployed right now, if that. And I think some of those are just scattered duty, patrol duty, which is like the Westpac Patrol or the Atlantic Patrol, where they're basically just sailing up and down, not so much our coast, but out in the ocean somewhere or going overseas. Well, no, Jimmy. So when you do Atlantic Pac, sometimes if they're doing Atlantic on our side, sometimes they're doing Atlantic on the Europe side. Yeah, remember Atlantic touches 2 continents, so actually more than 2 continents. But so sometimes you'll be sailing along the up and down that coast, and you might port a couple of times. And no, they like the port carriers. They just can't. The problem with port carriers in foreign ports is we don't leave our airplanes on board when the carriers port. No, we learned a valuable lesson in World War II in Pearl Harbor. We don't keep our jets nowhere close together. We send them like 10 different bases now. Oh, the first thing we're doing when we're porting, porting in San Diego, and we get the call. We got 5 jets going here, 7 jets going here, 9 jets going here, 11 jets going here. We got aircraft going there. We got helicopters going here. No, they don't put them. And the reason they do that is for 2 reasons. One, it makes it really hard to blow them up. And 2, it allows responses from multiple directions at multiple times. So if someone does incur, they'll find their ass inside of a bee's nest. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, well, we got our ass kicked in Pearl Harbor. It's as plain as I can tell you. The Japanese put their foot right up our ass and through our mouth, buddy.
But that was a surprise attack, first of all. I mean, it was not.
We were so lucky that none of our carriers were in port. It was unbelievable how lucky we were. I don't want to say, I mean, I know 5,000 people down there and we lost all kind of lives and ships, but them 3 carriers is what turned the war in Midway, people. It's a damn thing we didn't lose them. Oh, with Midway, we'd have got our asses kicked. So,
well, without those carriers, we there's some conspiracy theories that thinking that maybe those carriers were sent out to sea at the last minute, essentially at the 11th hour, like the evening before. So the attack happened on July 7th on a Sunday at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m., something like that. They think the carriers were ordered out to sea at 11 p.m. the night before.
Well, I don't know what actually went down, but I do know for a fact. I do know for a fact that that the day before the attack, or 12 or 14 hours before the attack, the radar system had picked up all of the Japanese planes, and it had been reported to command. But for some reason, command said it was a flock of birds and not to worry about it. And nobody went and investigated, which isn't standard procedure. So first off, if we'd have had a group something coming in, we'd have seen way out there, and someone would have said, well, it's a flock of birds. Well, at the very least, today they would just send a drone. But at the very least, back then, we'd at least send a helicopter. We might have sent a jet, but we'd have sent something to go look. And as soon as it got there, and it was in planes all over, the next thing you would hear is weep, 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 and everything we had would be in the air in like 7 minutes. All of our fighters would be in the air in like 7 minutes. Yeah. So it would just be unbelievable. It'd be jet after jet after jet after jet. It is so funny because on the Nimitz, we could launch 3 at a time. We usually launch 2, but we could launch 3 at a time. And it was insane. It was insane. I've never seen anything like that. And at nighttime when all them jet engines are and everything's going down the thing, and the ships. No, the ship don't stop. People, the ship's at full speed. Who told you it stopped?
Full speed into the wind. Yeah.
The wind. Yeah, that gives the planes more lift. Yeah, they don't stop the carrier. No, man, they've got that bit
full speed.
You're cruising them planes
into the wind,
and you can tell when you're at top speeds because them planes just go off. So when you're not at top speeds, they do this, and then up. When you're at top speed, they just go, and you can tell the difference. Oh no, they dip in front of the carrier. They
always fall below the deck when they take off.
Yeah, I remember the very first time I was sitting up front smoking a cigarette on the front deck, and I seen it came over the deck. It freaked me out because I thought the flames were going to get us because we were sitting on just a little deck right there at the front of the carrier. But I guess it was far enough away. It was wicked looking. Yeah, me and my friend got in trouble for taking pictures.
Yeah. Oops.
I mean, we didn't get in real trouble. They took the cameras away is what they did and said, no, you can't take pictures here. This is classified. I'm like, really? And they're like, no, you can't. I was like, all you can see is flame and a little circular engine. You can't really see anything else. Nope. And then one of our friends got in real trouble.
Any kind of film, you can get some good detail out of stuff, dude.
Well, a good friend of ours got in trouble because he was on the conning tower taking pictures. Well, the problem with that is it's that single flash. Where the jet came in and they thought it was the ball. They thought it was a stick, actually. And they were trying to line up with the light. And then when they realized somebody put on the bottom light and hit the green light on so that the plane would properly line up with where it was supposed to be going. If it would have kept following the white light, it would have smashed in the side of the conning tower. Little things make a big difference on those ships. I mean, any little thing can get you killed. Let me see if I got this right quick before we roll up out of here. Let's see. Present shared screen. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be crazy Iranian peoples. Okay, that wasn't right. Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right. Up, no, get up in there. Let's see. Where is full screen at? Give me the full screen.
Right there. Thing. See the 220, 120? Go back up.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I got you. There we go. That's better. Anyway, so let's see what we got here. So this is what is this the Gerald Ford?
That's at least two carriers right there.
The one in the front I think is a Gerald Ford.
Yeah,
that's a Gerald
Ford.
Can
launch 3. The one behind it can launch 2.
I don't even know what's behind it. What was the other one? The other one was out
behind
there.
It looks like
no, there was another. There was another one. Was it the Ronald Reagan? I think it was the Ronald Reagan. There was another big one out there. Another new class. Oh, look at him, F-18, still in service. The bitches just came in service when I was in the Navy. They were coming in to replace the F-14 Tomcats. And
yeah, but up to like generation F or G now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. Let's see. Oh, a tender. Now see, this was great. I was telling this to Sean the other day.
I told you that was a tender. The next one behind it.
So when I was in the States, so this would have been the Nimitz right here. This would have been the tender. Well, this tender would have came into about right here, and right here would have been a submarine. Just parked in there. It would have been almost. Sometimes we even tied them off to the carrier itself and let the carrier pull it along as we were going. Oh no, people, we don't stop for refuel. Oh hell no. Carrier rarely ever stops. Yeah, it rarely ever stops. Everything's
ammo, replane, repilot, all like that.
Another F-18 Hornet. It's no, it's crazy out there. Them things, people. Yeah, little. I was a PC on the deck of these things.
Look at the tips up on that F-18.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do have them up. You see the pretty green stripes.
Yeah. What are those? Medical?
No, green is always Airedales. Medical is I forgot what color they were. Red is fire. I know that.
Yeah, green is probably command or something like that.
No, green's just Airedales. It's all. It just means you're part of the air, part of the Navy. That's a big carrier there, baby.
That's huge.
6,000,
7,000 people on board.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 ships behind her.
But there's the 2 you don't see below.
Yeah. There's always a sub around.
Yeah, at least one. I bet you there's 2 in that flotilla.
Yeah, you see, so they do a smaller wake.
Is that a truck?
It might be. We used to have fuel trucks on board.
Helo.
No, it's a
Helo.
Truck or a Helo. No, it's a Helo
with its wing. Yeah, with the propeller winged back.
But we had two gas trucks on board the ship. Look how wide this thing is. I mean, this thing is just monstrous.
It's like the size of a city block, like 3 or 4 city blocks.
And why is it flying a Ukrainian flag? What the bullshit is that about?
Because that's not one of ours.
No, that's ours. That's American flag right there. Are we porting in a Ukrainian port? What the hell is that about?
Maybe. I don't know.
No, it ain't no Ukrainian guy got no ship like
Maybe
this.
We're flying that so the Russians won't hit us. I don't know. Maybe they're flying that so the Russians will hit us. And then
there's only, what is there? I think there's only 4 countries that even have, 5 countries that even have carriers. Infrared.
Russia, U.S., England.
India. UK.
India? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, India bought one of them old Russian ones.
Do they really?
Yeah, Jesus, I don't know if as far as I know, they still got it. I mean, I haven't looked at it in a long time. You noticed that Y'all notice that there's something missing here?
Japan had one that we gave them.
Yeah, you notice there's something missing off this deck. You see the different types of planes they got on it. What's missing?
Hawkeyes.
They got some of them somewhere hidden. I don't see any F-35s.
I see one Hawkeye. I see one.
Yeah,
I see one radar plane in the middle there, and that's it.
Yeah. They usually have 3 on board.
I don't know what else.
No, I don't see no F-35. That wouldn't be an F-16 aboard a carrier. No, there's no F-35s on board.
Huh? What are they flying over? Are they flying in an umbrella or what?
I don't know. Either they've got them up below deck, so that for some reason the Ford don't have F-35s, because there's F-35 for carriers. So I'm not sure. Well, this
F-35 has vertical takeoff and lift. I mean, it's like a Harrier.
Well, not all of them do. No, some of them do. Not all of them do.
I thought they all did.
No, they
I thought they all had vectored thrust, and they could do that. I
thought they all did too, but somebody just recently we were doing something, and when we looked it up, they said that only some of them had it. Of course, these days I don't trust anything yet. But see, there's not an F-35 on here. These are all F-18s.
No. Yeah,
that's a buttload of F-8 still. I wouldn't want to mess with one of these. And you know what? Now these can kill the SU-29-39. These can outshoot them now in distance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're pretty cracker jacks. You boy up here checking out the fleet. What's going on? Always somebody flying around. There's always somebody flying around. Yep, 2 carriers again. Now these are the same type carriers. Yeah. So this must be
one smaller than the other.
I don't know which fleet this is. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but we'll see in a minute. I think I see them side by side up there somewhere.
Yeah, the one back is smaller, definitely. They might be the same style with the angled deck coming off the side, but
that's a Marine carrier there. That's one of them.
Yeah. Look how shorter it is. It's like almost half the length of the other carrier.
That's a whatchamacallit carrier. It's a Harrier carrier. Maybe it's F-35s on it now, but that's a Harrier carrier. That's what that is. Yeah, you're not getting
short one.
Yeah, you're not getting no plane shooting off the end of that thing's too short.
Yeah,
and it don't have no lift on the end.
Could be hovercraft launcher too.
No, it's a carrier. It's just a Harrier carrier. That's what it is. It's a Marine carrier. That's what they use. Marine carriers use.
They also have the LCACs too, the light cushion air vehicle launch vehicle.
But I know we got to get out of here, guys. I know there's still like 5 more articles in here, but they'll have to wait till another night.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Christopher? No, we all love Joe Biden. Yes, we want to have his babies.
We all love Joe Biden to get out of the presidency. That's what we love.
Daily Express, K5, World War III has already begun as warnings issued, no chance for peace for decades. Well, I'm telling you, if Trump gets in there, y'all can forget that, guys. What do you mean? No, I think Putin will quit if Trump gets in. He's already said he's looking for a leader that can help end this war, and that's right after Trump won so big in Iowa. So I'm thinking Putin's always been a little scared of Trump. Trump's a big guy to start off with, and he's seen what happened. He threatened Kim Jong-un to bury him. I mean, he threatened him a couple of times of wiping from the face of the earth. And then after he made that threat, having dinner with Xi Jinping, he popped that submarine off the coast of Syria and launched how many missiles? Oh, wait, every missile it had on board. That pretty much made a statement there, like, I will kill you, and I will take whatever means it takes to kill you. That was directly aimed at Kim Jong-un and kind of a mini threat for Xi Jinping as well, because that was an awesome amount of power unleashed, and no one knew it was there. Twice we've now sailed submarines into the Chinese Navy. Once we sailed a cruiser into it, which I'm pretty sure looked like an Agus or something like an Agus. I'm not sure what they have anymore. And then let's not forget, Trump's had some real breaks here in this week or so. So the Supreme Court is going to side with him on. They're going to change. So a couple of the June 6 cases are going to get overturned and tossed out. They've already stopped
free publicity.
So, well, they said whatever they said, just however they prosecuted it was wrong, and the Supreme Court said no.
Nice.
So that's going to get tossed. It'll get rid of 2 of the 4 cases against him, and also weaken the other 2. All the shit in New York is pretty much just going to cost him money, and everybody said the same thing. Even 2 federal judges now, in New York federal judges, actually said, I don't know why they haven't recused themselves. He said, I don't know why the judge and the prosecutor hasn't recused herself. I can tell you now, if Trump does lose and appeals for appeal, we're going to give him
the
an
appeal
appeal.
to the Australian. Yeah,
they're going to give it to him, and
absolutely.
Because they said, and then the one judge said, and I don't know where this judge think he's an estimator. He said he's a judge. He doesn't do and he said, I even looked up to see maybe he did this for a living before he was a judge way back. Well, no. So they're like, no. And then the judge said, look, once the bank came out and said, I'm sorry, but we checked his income out, plus he's paid all his bills, the case should have been over with. So I don't know what that's about. So they're saying he can't get a fair trial, a fair jury in New York. So that's another reason.
He's not getting a fair shake. I mean, people say that I like the guy, I love the guy. I don't love the guy as a human being. I think he's a horrible human being. I think he's an absolute douchebag and a half. But I think he's a pretty savvy businessman, and that's what we need in the office, and someone that our enemies are afraid of. Trump gives us that. I don't care what the guy says on Twitter. I don't care if he calls you a weird, female slur. I don't really care if he hurts your feelings on social media, as long as I'm not paying $5 for a gallon of gasoline.
And then the one in Georgia, now they found out that the head prosecutor and one of the attorney prosecutors are sleeping together, and she's paying him more than she's paying. Yeah, and she's paying him more than she's paying anyone else. And some of the other prosecutors are much better and have much more time. And so that's already being brought into question now. So that case has got a big foot up its ass. So that's going to probably get tossed. Or if it don't get tossed, it'll get overturned. So really,
I'm just shocked.
I know, aren't you just shocked? And so there's just the one in Florida. So at this point, there doesn't look to win, lose, or draw. There doesn't look to be anything here that can put him in jail. So...
except for like blatant flagrants of the law.
And as long as Kennedy's in this race, I don't know how any Democrat could win. It wouldn't matter. Even if Michelle ran, she couldn't win if Kennedy's in the race, because the people are going to vote for Kennedy are still going to vote for Kennedy. They're not going to vote for Michelle. And I'm not sure that she's going to be as well accepted as people think. I mean, a lot of people think her husband made a fucking mockery out of our country. So I'm not sure.
Well,
Obama never had a chance.
And I think people actually liked her husband.
No, they did, but they thought he was a shitty president. They just thought he was a nice person.
I think it's a person. If he moved in next door, he and I would get along great. We'd play basketball and have spirits together or whatever. We'd have a great time. But
I can't say the same about her.
Hey, Foxy Joe.
But if everyone remembers what she said, and we said it earlier, I don't know if it was this show or the show or something before, but we did speak about it tonight. I know when she did her first speech at his inauguration, her first words to the American nation were, "America, your children are fat."
Yeah, she said a lot.
First words.
She said a lot of anti-American stuff. So and all that.
Yeah, there was some like ceremony, like they were retiring the flag or something like that, and she was standing with her husband, and you could see her mouth. All this for a damn flag, and it's like,
she's a piece of work. I don't like the woman at all.
Well, I already know
she's fun of her. I said I think her name used to be Michael, but that's just me.
Well, and see, then there's all them videos of her getting off the airplane, and I wonder if they'll play those.
Oh, do you know that while she was in office with her husband, they did not allow her to wear dresses in the White House? You know that?
I didn't know why, because I know she wore them on the planes.
Yeah, they didn't want to see her balls.
Well. The funny part was, so there's 5 videos.
John, you walked into that one.
But there's 5 videos of her getting off a plane and the wind's pushing against her, and there's something about this long and about this wide, just kind of pushed across from the middle of her waist to her side. Now everybody who's seen it, says the same thing. I'm thinking maybe bitch is packing a gun. I mean, she's feisty. I mean, she's the president's wife. Wouldn't you want some security or something? But, from day one, they've always called her Michael from day one. always. And they can't find the official birth records on the children, so they've always been a little iffy about where the kids came from.
Or on him.
Well, yeah, and then there's always the controversy about his birth certificate. He could be the first non-American president. But
you notice
people
how Joe
forget
Arpaio is all of a sudden very, very quiet after his. I mean, his evidence was very, very compelling, and all of a sudden he's very, very quiet now. After especially after the fact, or how many years after the fact of Obama?
Yeah, well, Obama,
sense.
Anyway, poor Obama could have been a good president. He just got his foot. Somebody put his foot up his ass. It didn't matter.
They should have let him finish his damn first senatorship.
You got to play the
second
game.
One, and then
the only person that's been able to
some chips in the game. Some chips.
The only two presidents I've ever seen that didn't play the game was Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. And Ronald Reagan was just a better talker than Donald Trump is. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, we spoke about that as well. He knew how to cue himself so that the cameras got him in the best light. He knew how to inflect his voice so that the microphones picked him up.
And he had
the guy sitting in the back of the row could hear him.
And he had some of the best speechwriters I've ever seen. That boy bolted out some really good speeches, man. Somebody said he's so touching and feeling. How does he come up with this? I said, well, he's an actor and he has really good speechwriters. They're like, no, he does that himself. I'm like, no.
He had that grandfather effect on everybody, like when you go to your grandparents' house, you feel safe and warm and cuddly, and oh, here's these things for Christmas. And that's how he came across. He was like just a friendly guy, but almost every one of our enemies was scared to death of the man.
Well, it was I don't know. It's crazy. What was this I just popped up here? Somebody posted.
Foxy
Joe.
Hey, Foxy Joe, what's happening, man? You're smoking that ganja on you, man. I can tell. I can see the smoke coming up to your ears, man.
Yeah, he's probably right.
It's
he's probably correct.
There's a lot going on in our country. I know we got to get out of here. There's a lot going on, people. There's going to be a lot more. Now, this is actually our last show that's non-election related. So you'll be hearing more and more election details starting with the next show because it'll be in February. And because it's official then, we're only 9 months out. And we get to fight and quarrel about what. See, my problem is here, usually when we do election shows, they're fun. But these shows with Donald Trump and Cracker Joe, I feel like I'm abusing a child or something. I mean, really. I mean, Cracker is just. And then wait, I listened to him yesterday.
He's just north of the border of child molestation. The way he picks up some of those children and kisses them and smells their hair. It's creepy.
He's just going to sit in his basement and print ballots. I mean, that's kind of the strategy, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
That's what he wants to do, but I don't know if they're going to let him. But that's what he wants to do, and but everybody's paying a lot more attention this time around because there's just too much stuff with Cracker Joe. But I listened to him.
I think these people will do it anyway. I don't.
Oh, they're going to try.
They care. I don't think.
They don't care. And they're going to.
And I don't know who these people are. I'm not saying they're Democrats or.
Oh, a lot of them are Democrats, but a lot of them.
I think they're just people who are in control, and they don't. Trump is very destabilized. I don't think it's a Republican Democrat thing. No, and I'm not a Trump fan. I just see this for what it is. Right? It's people don't like like this populism. They want to stop it at all costs.
Actually, Brenda, I have never voted for Trump. Yeah, no shame on me, but I got this rule about voting against absolute
corruption. He's an extremely arrogant pain in the ass, but look at it this way. Do you like the way the country's going now with the Democrats?
Well, see, my problem was,
did you like it before when he had us paying $1.89 for gasoline?
Well, I just don't like the people in power now. Like, I don't like the people in power now. That's like mine's not like it's not an affinity vote. It's like an anti-vote.
Yeah, it really is an anti-vote. Because I mean, really and truly, the people who are running things right now are just scary. And I'm waiting for them to do something.
To be honest, I don't know who's running it. I don't know who's running things right now.
Well, see, and that's the thing. And when you watch the White House, you get mixed messages. So you get some things you think might be Obama or maybe his wife, and you get some things you think, what is there? Like it's like the 8th grade cheerleader squad met down the hallway and decided this was what we're going to do. I mean, some decisions that come out of there obviously being made by Z-Jenners. And I'm thinking, why would you let a Z-Jenner make any decisions for our country? I mean, no, there's a reason we say young and dumb.
Saying, like, crazy stuff. I mean, it got so crazy. You have like Jamie Dimon coming out, right, and saying, "Hey, stop attacking half the country," right?
That's the problem.
That's like more Gen Z stuff is coming from.
Yeah. And then a lot of Democrats are saying, "What's going?" So when I push my Democrats about the the crime stuff and we go over everything, most of the Democrats are telling me now, look, we know this is politically related. This is not. So I said, and what would you do if I said, all y'all are doing is setting this up? So I said, I told y'all this about 20 years ago. I said, look, when the Democrats changed the amount of votes in the Senate, I said, this is going to come back to bite you in the ass. I said, because as soon as Republicans get control, they're going to use it. And sure enough, the Republicans ended up with 3 more Supreme Court seats of it because of that. If they would have left it 60, the Democrats would have had a chance of getting somebody else in there, but they didn't. So that bit them directly in the ass. And every time they change a rule, it comes back to bite them. And the rules need to be a little bit more solid. And I think the Fed needs to be involved in the election thing. I'll say it says you have to be certified and qualified by the 10 months out from the race. There's no other way to get in after that. And then this thing with Michelle interested me because when I was reading through the states, all the states have different rules. All 50 states have different rules, and the Commonwealth.
Should be standard.
Yeah. Oh, yes, people. Don't forget there's more than, well, technically there's 50 states, but there's 4 Commonwealths or something. Anyway.
But there's also several territories. There's Cuba, there's Midway, there's, all the other places we have outlying.
But the only thing that Puerto Rico gets a vote in is a president election, right? Not all elections, just a presidential election. I forgot how that works.
Yes, presidential, but they also presidential, but they also have their own local elections on Puerto Rico.
Well, yeah, they got their own local elections. Yeah,
us, but it's I mean,
I don't know, Jimmy.
These places have federal elections, same as the rest of us on November, whatever the second Tuesday, whatever it is.
But anyway,
you better get that right. You better get that right. If you get it wrong, you'll be put in prison. Remember that guy? He said, he was joking, making jokes on Twitter. And they prosecuted him. Yeah,
because they said he was trying to get out false or disinformation or some shit. Yeah. What do you mean? Who sent me this? NASA lost communication with the helicopter. Oh, well, I hope they figure that out. Mm-hmm. And there's another one of these articles about what happened to the advanced tanks Putin sent to the Ukraine. Oh, they probably got their tops popped. Let's see. Probably by Bradley's. Rudy Giuliano's personal bankruptcy off to a contested start. Yeah, these girls are trying to contest his money. North Korea holds nuclear test in protest against America military drill.
Great.
It don't look like a nuclear bomb to me. This is one effed up nuclear bomb. People, see, Daily Mail, maybe you should have looked at this explosion before you said it was a nuclear bomb. Nuclear bombs do not look like that when they blow up. That looks like a conventional weapon. Man, and then they got this new thing, the mysterious giant structures challenges our understanding of the universe. They've been finding things lately like what they think is a Dyson sphere, and they found this one thing that's like a third of the size of the universe. I don't know what the hell it could be. I keep trying to tell people there are other life forms out there and much, much older than we are. Just think of human race. If we make it 5 billion years, the things we'll be able to achieve. I mean, we're basically, to us, we would be gods. If we came back to now, we would
think of the stuff we couldn't achieve even just 100 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Years from today.
Well, if the three of us went back in time and with just a few little inventions, we would be gods. They would treat you just like one. I mean, could you see walking around Egypt with an AK-47? Say, excuse me, who's attacking me? Oh, wait, watch this. Oh, wait, 100 did, 200 did, 300 did. Oh, wait. I mean, they can't even get in spear throwing range. Or maybe like a little Bradley cruising around, going through the sands.
It'd be less useful though. You'd run out of fuel pretty quick.
But we know where there's crude oil back then above ground, and converting crude oil to gasoline is not that hard to do. You'd be surprised how easy some stuff is. Don't ask me how I know that shit, people. Stuff I had to learn when I was in the service.
It's the same as distilling gin, from juniper berries.
Yeah, it's.
You just need a bathtub with some copper wire.
I want to make some. I want to make some cherry bounce. It's wild cherries, like a pound of sugar, and a couple other little ingredients, and then it makes 110 proof cherry bounce. Yes. Yeah. Or you can cheat.
You some yeast you get thrown there too.
Yeah, you got to have some live yeast. Or you can cheat and put all the ingredients in and then add like a 151 to it.
Yeah.
And then let it ferment for it's like 8 weeks or something. Yes. Oh, my dad used to make it. No, the first time I drank it, I puked for 2 days. I was so loaded I didn't know my own name, but that sweetness just made me sick as a dog. It was too much for me. I'm not a big fan of like slow gin and stuff like that. No. But anyway,
sound
we
like
gotta
Low Country
go.
Death Parts which we made in college.
I see Sean's boss lady keeps walking behind him like a ghost and saying, "I'm coming for you, baby. What are you doing? Get your ass in bed." No, Bobby Lee, we all got lives. Yes. No, we actually no. Sean's always welcome here, so we want him to come as much as he can. But he's going to be starting soon, I hear. The boss lady called me about you the other day and said he's on his way. So when do you start? What day was it? I forget now. She told me.
It's February 4th. It's a Sunday night.
Ooh, Sunday night too. That ought to be an interesting night for people. Oh, that's right. You're going to be capping off a 3-show lineup. So yeah, that's pretty good. I can't wait to hear it. Oh, y'all go here. We'll be announcing it on this show for a while until it's got like.
Doesn't our other resident Sean Jack Kelly? Doesn't he have a show on Sunday?
Sean's gonna be ahead of this Sean. It's gonna be like Sean and Sean. It's gonna be Ginny, Sean, and Sean.
It's gonna be like Sean and Sean in the morning, except for being the evening time.
Yeah, and there's a Ginny, Sean, and Sean, and there's somebody else coming too. It's gonna be ahead of them. So there'll be 4 in a row there. There'll be 8 hours of really good radio and TV. I don't know what Sean's going to talk about. As long as he don't invite Zach on, we're good to go.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm bringing somebody on who. It'll be interesting.
That ought to be fun. I don't remember Zach who was on with me last weekend, and we got sex therapy for the first hour. Don't remember that? Yes. Apparently, some of you listeners needed some sex therapy. Is all I can tell y'all. Actually,
naughty people out there.
We may bring him on one of these days. Right now, I got a spot for. Currently, I got a spot for 1 more male. Actually 2, and 3 females, and then Michelle and I got to balance out because this station's only got room for 10 more shows, and then it's full, which means the other station will start to open up. So you'll start to see a fundamental shift on where shows will actually be at that point. Some will be here in United Public. Some will go back to the old station on UPR or UFO Paranormal Radio. It just depends where you are, what your show is listed as. It will determine where you are. Well, no, just because you do a variety doesn't mean you'll be on UFO Paranormal, because variety means just what it says, variety, which means you can do esoteric stuff and still do normal everyday stuff too. Well, we got a lot of self-help shows on the network, and we got a lot of other stuff like that. We got a couple of new shows coming in. We've got some conspiracy stuff. The conspiracy stuff will probably end up with United. We'll let Michelle make that decision. It's her job, not mine. Yeah, she can make that decision where she wants them at. Well, she's the one who's got to deal with them. Yeah, so it's so funny now. I love this shit. So usually, in the old days, hosts seen me every day, every show, every day. Always see me. Now they don't see me often. So when I pop in this show, they get nervous. I've had 4 different hosts that popped out, all 4 of them got nervous. People forgot what they were saying, and they're like, "You come?" I said, "No, I'm just stopping by, saying hi. No reason, just the boss freaks them out." I was laughing. I'm telling you, no reason to get nervous about me. I'm just coming by to see what's going on, man. Anyway, Clara, we got to go. Y'all guys were great. It's fun as always. Now, Sean will be here. Y'all can harass him. Y'all can just get in one of the chat groups or learn one of the damn. He's going to have his own YouTube on here with y'all, so y'all can hop on his YouTube and give him some numbers and just hang out and say hi and talk to him and sweet talking. Maybe give you free pizza or something. Whatever. He ain't get no damn free pizzas. You get out of here, people, with that bullshit. You know what? You sent me a free pizza.
I don't know. They told me there'd be pizza involved.
I was thinking about that in the old days. Y'all used to send me pizzas. What's going on here, man? I'm feeling hurt now. The old audience used to send me pizzas.
Better put your phone number out there, Joe. Just put your phone number out there.
My phone number is out there already. Somebody said, "You're not worried about it?" It's been on websites for, 4 decades now. So what the hell, man?
The town I live in is kind of weird. Some of the restaurants, they close on a certain particular day in the middle of the week, a day when you wouldn't expect a restaurant to be closed, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. So the one pizza joint we like to go to is closed on Wednesday, and the one burger joint is called the Wayne's Burger. I live in Waynesboro. That they close on Tuesday. So my girlfriend wanted to order pizza, and it was a Wednesday night. So she ordered from our secondary pizza place, which used to be called Toledo's. Well, Toledo's closed down and became Nacho Pizza. Like nachos.
Okay, that's just scary.
Not your pizza.
And so she ordered a cheeseburger or a hamburger and cheese pizza. and it was just awful. And then I was at work and we were talking about it, and someone said nacho pizza. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it's on Potomac. Like, no, it's not. That's Toledo's. Like, yeah, it used to be. I'm like, what? So we figured out that that's why our pizza sucked the other night. So we no longer order from
not
that,
your pizza.
It's nacho pizza.
Right.
Yeah,
somebody else's nasty
nacho
pizza. See, that just sounds nasty, and I like pizza. Yeah. It still sounds nasty.
I wouldn't even think of ordering
I don't know.
hamburger pizza. That's weird.
No, Helen, you can come see him on Sunday night.
Probably done hamburger on a pizza is very good, actually, but this was like little tiny, grease balls.
So anyway, if you happen to eat at this place, we take no responsibility for anything Jay just said. y'all hate on Jay. Oh no, we hate on food companies all the time. No, we're not bashful. We hate on food companies all the time. I'm actually, y'all would not know it, but I on my Google rating, I'm in the top 3% for giving out ratings. Currently, I have over 11 million people have visited Google to see my ratings. Yes. I know I give out pictures sometimes, and sometimes I leave some good comments, and sometimes I leave some comments. Matter of fact, there's a place called Shrimp Basket. They're still to this day trying to get me to take the comment down. I posted, I gave them a 0, and I don't even like to write. And I wrote about a paragraph about like this. I said, "Yeah, y'all do it that." They gave me fried crab, and then when it came out, I took a bite. It was frozen. I'm like, what the? And I said, can you fix this? So they took it back and refried the crab that they brought me, which was nasty to start off with. And it came back frozen. So I said, give me my money back. I'm leaving. And I said, I'm never coming back to this store again, because not all shrimp baskets suck, just that one. The one in Gulfport. Until to this day. So I told the manager, called me one day. He said, okay. I said, why would I take it down? I said, it was a horrible experience. You never did anything to make it right. I said, you didn't even offer me a free dinner. I mean, what is it off your skin if Shrimp Basket buys me and my old lady a dinner? And they're like, or me and anybody dinner. And they're like, no. I said, well, see that answer right there means it's staying up there. I was just like, screw you. You can stay up there for life. I got one picture. I'm at the Palace Casino in Biloxi, and I took this shot out of my window. It's actually 2 shots. It's a gray day. And when you look, you see one of those big, huge cargo planes just kind of hanging in the sky, but it mixed in with the gray. For some reason, people love that picture. It's got over 2 million likes. I was like, what? All the shit I post, that's what gets the likes. I'm like, okay. No, I just don't understand. But we rate all kind of food places. And last year, 17 states we were in. And the trip to Utah and back, we were in, 8 different states. All of that. We rate all of that stuff, man. And if I get bored, I hand it to Linda and say, here, you do it. What's that, Christopher? Yes, we got to go. We're already supposed to be going. So good night, everybody. Stay tuned for Scott Bakula. No, Dave Scott. I'm just teasing. Scott Bakula. It's Dave Scott. He's on Spaced Out Radio. He's been on for an hour and a half now, so you better get over there and listen to it. Oh, no. He's nutsy and all 3 of us put together. Oh, yeah. His mama definitely dropped him on. I think she had too much moose milk when she was a baby and just dropped him on his head. He lives up there in Vancouver somewhere in BC. Yeah, he's nuts. He's nuts. I like him, but he's nuts. He's a little on the L side, but we're not going to hold that against him. Not lesbian. What the hell is that?
They get a pure form of oxygen out there in British Columbia.
I said he's on the L side, and you write he's a lesbian, right? Or they're a lesbian. Anyway, on that note, we're out of here. Good night, everyone. Stay tuned again for Big Spaced Out Radio. I hope to see y'all tomorrow on the Arthur's Quill. I forgot who's on. Dave is on with us tomorrow, so you can come by and check him out. I think John's going to be with me as well. No, it actually supposed to be other hosts. So it's actually supposed to be 4 or 5 of us. I just haven't had time to sit down and get everybody together. I'm working on websites right now. But again, on that note, good night and stay tuned for Crazy Man Dave Scott. I'll be here tomorrow from 3 to 5. You can come check it out and see what's going on. And I'll be working on websites other than that. And you can hang out and see who's on the Arthur's Quill. If you want to be a guest on any of the shows, you can write me at icar@cox.net. Or if you happen to be on my Facebook pages or as a messenger, you can hit me up on Messenger or on Instagram for that matter. There's a lot of places you can catch me. No, my pages are public. So if you pop on to Facebook and you write a public message, it'll come to me. Yeah, you can just write, hey, Joe, I'd like to come on your show. But do this, okay? Before you do that, write on there like something you'd like to talk about or what it might be about. I host 4 different shows. So, one's just science, where you geek out on science. There's this show, which we talk about, as you can hear, all kind of crap.
All kinds of stuff.
You never know where we're going with this show. We do talk about real news. Somebody the other day was bitching at me about it, and I said, well, go back and talk and see how many news articles we actually did. And she comes back, she's like, God, I went through 20 of them. I'm like, yeah. I said, but there's a lot of time. It's 3 hours. So we're talking about a lot of different things. I said, but we go through news articles as we're going along. Just got to pay attention.
Yeah, sometimes those news articles park us on food or movies. Or
well, you never know.
Other yummy things.
And then, and so, I mean, but, at least give me an idea of what you want to talk about. This show, if you want to come on this show, you just have to show an ability to talk politics. Even though a lot of times we're going to talk a lot of different things, you still need the ability, because when we get into politics, which will be more and more as we get into the election year, you just need to be able to hold your own. I don't mean you have to cuss or scream or hate on anybody. You just need to hold your own. Just do your education about coming on. Well, no, because we fact check doing the shows. All 3 of us did.
Oh yeah.
Yes. No, we don't. Okay. First, you shouldn't get your feelings hurt if you say something and somebody goes, "Oh no, it's this, that, or the other thing." No, it's been corrected. Move on. Because not everybody's perfect, and that's life. No, it's the correct way to do radio and TV. It's not the bullshit way; it's the right way. So you're getting real information and not fake information.
Yeah, well, what was election? I was on Google. I had 3 maps up. I think we had 35 states for the senatorial elections, and then I had a map up, Google Maps. Election results for the gubernatorial race, the senator race, and the House of Representatives race, and I was looking at each state, but not only by like the big picture, but I would on the maps. If you clicked on the state, it would zoom into the county level, and it was amazing. It was a revelation. It was the first time I'd ever actually done that. While we're talking about the different election points and going up and down the eastern seaboard and heading west. You could see like certain counties were turning red. Some were like they'd be pink, and then they would go blue or red. And it happened all up and down the eastern seaboard. All the counties that are away from the major city sites, out in the boonies, if you will, all voted red. But each state, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 different major city areas, capital cities and whatnot, in major city zones, the voters in those smaller concentrated areas overpowered all these other red counties and turned the election. I was astounded how just these, for Pennsylvania, for example, we have 72 counties, 72, and
it's like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh determine it. Yeah,
Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Erie, and one other city, maybe Lancaster. I can't remember. Maybe it was York. I can't remember. One other of the larger city areas overpowered the other 60-some counties. That's because you got to get the red people in the big cities to vote, and they don't like
the Republicans have got to move out of the boondocks.
Well, no, it's not that. There's plenty of them in the cities. They just don't go out and vote for some.
There's not enough of them, clearly.
So, like in New Orleans, if you look at New Orleans, see, but look, I'll make the point.
It shouldn't happen, though.
But in New Orleans,
the rest of the state, their whole state voted red.
But it doesn't matter because there was no reds in those cities. They were all blue. And if the red people in those cities would have voted, they would have had a chance, but they didn't. They just they get in this in the hell. Well, this city always votes blue. Why vote? Because they don't understand the actual numbers actually count in the overall race.
If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. If you don't have a voice, you don't get.
Right. And that's always been my same thing. If you don't vote, don't bitch. It's always been the same thing. You can't bitch if you
tell me you don't like the candidate because you didn't vote.
And Kerry, yes, that's right. I used to say that all the time. Good facts versus real facts. We give you real facts. NBC gives you good facts. There's a big difference between
if you hang out with Shaggy, he'll give you real ruby racks.
That's right. So if real facts versus good facts all the time. Actually, the Democrats invented that. They used to talk about good facts all the time, but good facts are not real facts. They're good facts for the people who are talking about them, but they're not the real fact. Yes. Hey, look, it's just one of the things. Anyway, we out of here, people. Leave me the hell alone. Good night, everybody. Go home, take some Tylenol or something, take some NyQuil or some shit. On that note, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Insane people.